Okay. I'm gonna start now. Welcome everybody. Right here I'm gonna start with my Crisis Core new game any percent tutorial. This can be used for the English version of the game, Japanese or emulator as well. It doesn't matter what version of the game you're playing. If you play on console, I would recommend to go ahead and preload the opening cutscene like this. You would go on new game, start on normal mode, and then you would wait. That goes for console, not for emulator. Until the opening cutscene loads, I usually wait until the first letters on the bottom appear. Or until it zooms out. Right here. At that point, I just soft reset, and then the game actually loads the intro cutscene faster. Just a neat little trick to save some time for free. But yeah, what I'm gonna do is I'm basically gonna go over the route of this run, as well as over the boss fights and over all the menus, strategies, and possible save strats and whatnot, while skipping all the cutscenes as good as possible, because we don't need to watch them right here. In a regular run, you obviously wouldn't skip the cutscenes, or speed them up like this. But right here, we'll just do that because we don't need to watch them. So yeah, you want to go to new game and then normal mode. And then just watch this cutscene. By the way, guys, if you want to say anything in chat, I will normally respond. Just because I'm making a tutorial stream, doesn't mean I'm ignoring chat. I will still keep an eye out for chat and answer. So feel free to write anything. If you even have any questions, just feel free to write anything in there. I'll be happy to answer. So right here, upcoming, we have the Shinra Infantryman fight. Basically a tutorial fight where everything gets shown to you. You want to just smash this text box away with circle as quick as possible, then walk to the side and start using Fandagas on everyone. You want to try and line the Fandagas up so they hit as many enemies as possible, just so it's as fast as possible. On the top left you see a roulette rolling, the DMW. If you played the game before, you know that that's basically the way to level up in this game. However, in this run, we want to force it. We don't want to pop it randomly. We just want to... if we want it to happen, then it's because we force it to happen. So that means during the first 3 fights, before we can deactivate it, we don't want any of those to happen, as those are just useless time losses. Right here, after the infantryman, we have the behemoth fight right after. What you want to do at the beginning, you just want to mash circle to go back to attack and walk to the side until he does the attack. And then you're just gonna continuously do back attacks until the fight is over. Right here you see I got a modulating phase, which is straight up bad luck. I'm getting a power surge, not good. Materia level up, even worse, because I can't even keep that materia. But here we're gonna get Chain Slash level 1. This is straight up a waste of time. You don't want this to happen at all. During the run you want this to happen as low amount of as possible as well, but we're gonna hinder the DMW to activate for the most of the run. So yeah, you're just gonna do back attacks and then dodge. As you see, after every finisher he does 2 tail swipes. You wanna dodge right before the tail swipe starts to not take any damage. And then just continue attacking. You don't even have to hold any directions. I just press square to dodge. And at some point, you defeat him. Easy peasy. Easy first boss fight.
Showing your back to the...
Now it's a long cutscene. We're not gonna watch it. After every chapter, you will get a prompt like this to save, delete, or do nothing. What I usually do is... If I would continuously press up and X, I might press up too often and end up on delete or save, which is not too bad. You just press circle and leave the menu and you immediately are in the next chapter. What I usually do though is I mash circle, because It doesn't matter how often I press circle, I end up on do nothing. And that goes for most of the choice text boxes. Keep that in mind. So here, just do nothing. And continue. Another cutscene. Zack doing squats and hyper speed. Get the option to delete again whenever you beat a chapter. My kind of game. So right here, again, the same thing with the text boxes. You're gonna approach console. And then right here, if you would mash X, you would go to how do you read mail again. And that brings up more tutorial. If I would press up, I could accidentally press it too often and then end up on that again because it loops. However, if I mash circle, I always end up on mail again. And you can mash text with circle. Which means whenever there are text boxes coming up or choice boxes like these, you want to mash with circle. And as soon as you see that, just press up and X. And that usually gives you the default option. Right here, I'm only mashing circle and that matches the text. Right here, there's no text box either, no choice box. So I'm mashing X and circle, which is the fastest way. I'm gonna skip over this. We're gonna walk into the Earth and Pepper. Thanks for the follow. We're gonna examine the computer. So our first mission is ready. We're gonna walk up, new mission available. We exit with X or circle, doesn't matter. Then we press up 3 times to go to mission and just mash X to go into Shinra basic training. This fight is easy. Just mash X. You really don't need to do anything else but mashing X. That's the fastest way to go about it as well. And we're done. Now a lot of text boxes. Now you want to go here, open this capsule, and we get a bronze bangle. We will use it a few times, but not too often. Now, we would usually leave for Wutai, but there's actually a little trick. Or not trick, but a little gimmick here. If you examine this pot, console will tell you that you can't get anything else out of it anymore. However, if you do it quite a few times, I think I did it there. If you do it 20 times, you get the curse string, which is one of the main items throughout the entire run. We will keep it on for almost the entire time. So you get the curse string, and then you want to do a menu. You go to shops first, Shinra building shop, and buy as many ethers as possible. It will always be 5. Then you exit out of it, go to equipment, remove fire. If you press square in this menu, instead of going to unequip, you can go to equip and press square to remove the materia. Then you go, and then you stay in this menu. Who found out that you have to talk to? I don't know. I don't know who found that out. And you want to equip Bronze Bangle and Curse String. Curse String will give us Curse, as the name says, and it will stop the DMW from rolling, which saves us a lot of time, because we don't need the level ups. So now we're going to go into the briefing room, talk to Angel. He will give us a choice again. So you would mash circle here to be on hold on a second and up X. And there. A few text boxes again. Now, Wutai Warriors. You will notice the beginning of the run is very easy. You can... I'm just gonna mash X here. And everything dies in one hit. And that's the fastest way to go about this fight. So now we have more text boxes. A really important mechanic in Crisis Core is that enemies appear in some kind of spawn box. So right here in front of me, you have a wide open area. In the middle of the area, up to almost the border of it, there's a spawn box. So if I would enter here, I get a combat. I don't want that, so if I would want to flee, I just run into the wall. At some point, you don't even have to hold the direction, which means you're already escaping. I would just recommend holding the direction until you escape though. If I would enter the enemy box again, I would get another encounter. But what we usually do in the run, to save a lot of time, is we hug walls, because the encounter zones aren't actually reaching the walls of an area for like 90% of the time. So as long as you hug walls, you don't get any encounters. That's the basic rule of it. Now another cutscene. We don't want to watch that. Now we're just gonna walk straight forward. Gonna speed it up. Boom, we're there. And now, oops, I might make the first save state. So right here we have heightened emotions affected the DMW. It doesn't matter, we won't use a DMW. You mash that away. And now we have the castle square fight. This fight is very random and can randomly lose you a lot of time. It's not a hard fight, it's just a tedious fight. I think there are 30 enemies here. You don't want to just mash X, you want to try and always hit the soldiers close to you. If you would just mash X, Zack would start going after soldiers that are far away, just like right now. But if you face an enemy, you lock onto him automatically. The yellow soldiers take 3 hits, back attacks count as 2 hits because they're critical hits. And yeah, you can mash X for the most part, but you don't want to randomly hit enemies that are far away. You want the enemies to get close to you by themselves. So you go for whoever is close to you. I'm getting really unlucky right now because the Wu-Tai troops are very aggressive and attack me all the time. But yeah, as you see, now I didn't pay attention to where my lock-on was, and Zack just ran away and chose the guy that is as far away as possible, which is not what you want. That just wastes time. You want the Wu-Tai troops to come close to you. After a lot of enemies, you will notice nobody spawns, so you will kill the 3 Wu-Tai troops on the wall with blizzards. Face them, use blizzard, and you have an auto lock-on. Ah, the worry logic. Better auto-lock than KH2, I agree. Better auto-lock than KH in general. So this fight can lose you some time, but it's not really dangerous. You can't really do much about it either, because sometimes, even though you try your hardest to lock on to one of the close soldiers, Zack will just choose someone far away. What I like to do here is smash this text box with circle, because whenever you press circle in a fight, the cursor goes to attack. And right now we ended the fight with Blizzard, so we are still on Blizzard. I'm gonna make a save state and show it off right now. Here. If I mash X, I would immediately start with Blizzard, and that's slow. So you want to mash circle until you hear that little abort sound that you're gonna hear now. Right now, you hear an abort sound, and I'm on attack. So if you mash circle, you end up on attack, and boom. Just attack. Just mash X afterwards. You want to do attacks instead of blizzards because it's fast. Now right here, we could kill a lot of enemies, but we don't want to. If we hug the walls, I'm gonna redo this. There, I didn't wait for the sound, so I accidentally hit blizzard, which is not good. So right here, if you hug the wall, you usually evade the encounter. I honestly have no idea why it's not working right now, but usually 99% of the time you will evade this encounter. It's actually the first time that I ever got that encounter in a run. So right here we have a 4-lander and 2 Wu-Tai soldiers. You just want to mash X, as usual. Wu-Tai is not much of strategy, you just mash X for the most part. Now right here, this encounter is the opposite. There's a very, very small chance to evade it. I did it once and never again. But you usually get it, so don't worry about it. Then here, you have more Wu-Tai soldiers. Zack runs away, but you just want to get close to them. Then you have more soldiers. What you want to try here is you want to go for the right guy, not for the left guy necessarily. So I hold up right and try to delay my attack input a little bit. I just feel like that's a little bit faster than mashing X, because you can sometimes miss the other green guy, the right green guy, if you go for the left one. But if you go for the right one, you will always hit the left one as well while killing the yellow one. Now we have 2 4-landers. Again, just mash X. As I said, there's not much strategy to the beginning of the run. Right here, you want to hold down right to go for the green soldiers first, because they can be more annoying than the 4-landers, and then go after the 4-landers. They can use fire, but it's not that bad. You can dodge it if they get it off. So right here, we have another choice, and it's actually kind of important what you pick here. So you want to mash with circle, because after this text box, you get a choice again. I'll find a different route, loses you a lot of time because there will be a long cutscene. Just go and charge. So mash circle until you're on the text box and then up X. And then you can mash with X and circle again, because those text boxes aren't important. Now this fight, you mash X. First hit is always a back attack, and the second attack kills, because 3 hits are enough. As I said earlier, back attack is a crit, always, and that counts as 2 attacks. So whenever I say 7 attacks, you can also do 3 back attacks and a normal attack that counts as 7 as well. Right here, you want to... Here, I just dodged the fire. On this fight, you just want to mash X as well. If you get lucky, the side swing that hits all 3 full landers actually crits one of the side guys, and that saves you a little bit of time. So after the third text box of Lazard, you will get another choice. So once again, mash with circle until you're here, and then press up and X. If you don't do that, you have to approach the door again, and you have the text box once again, because you can defeat 16 truths, but you only have to defeat 7. Or you have to defeat 6. 1 is almost undodgeable, and 1 is almost never happening. But we got both of them. Now you just want to hug the wall again. It may happen that you get an encounter in the side way I just was inside of, but that happens rarely. Here we have Yuffie. You mash away the text. And then you enter the dojo. So what you want to do at the beginning of this fight, the Vajrata twins, let me quickly make a save state. This fight is not hard either. You just have to watch out to go fast in here. You want to mash X. You're gonna be able to do 2 to 3 attacks on the right Vajrata twin. 3 is pretty rarely, you usually get 2, like I just did. Then you want to try and walk around him. Usually don't want to attack, but that was buffered from earlier and I couldn't run around him. Awesome. This is going bad. So usually you want to wait for them to attack and then dodge, because after the dodge you will easily be able to get behind him. So right here, I'm gonna walk around him, try to get a back attack. If he tries to attack you, dodge him and you're behind him. This room is very bad to show off strats though, because it's pretty small, so I'm gonna show it again. Mash X until Twin Tomahawk happens. I actually got hit, which happens almost never, but it can happen as you see. So now, you want to go behind that guy and hack away. You want to watch out for the other one, because he can still attack you. But once the one guy is dead, you go after the back of the other one. He attacked, so I can dodge and just attack his back. If your health gets low, like below 100, you might want to heal. But they don't do a lot of damage. It's not really necessary. That's Vajrata twins. There's not much to say about that fight, because it's not hard. You basically just want to get as many back attacks as possible. But they're pretty thick, so it's not that hard to go behind them. So right here we have a normal replica fight. You just want to mash X at the beginning and then see what the other guys are doing. Both of them do melee attacks, which is okay. Try to get... They die within 3 hits, so there's not much to them. They can use Blizzard or Fire, both of which is not really dangerous. If they use one of them, you have to dodge the spell, because it will just stagger you, so you might as well avoid the damage instead of taking it. Right here, you want to run up. If you see that the camera angle changes, I would stop holding up, because you could, like, I'm gonna show it to you. Wait, I still need to prepare. If I hold up now and run up to this, it will just keep changing. So what I usually do is I run up, camera changes, I let go and then press up X. Oh yeah, that's my goal. I want to do this tutorial for other people to be able to watch it and like have some reference on how to run this game if they want to. Right here we have Ifrit. I held the toe for a little bit too long, but it's not too bad. You want to do 5 blizzards and then run away. And then do 6 blizzards. I failed. I'm gonna show it off again, wait. I want to show it off properly. I forgot to do a save state as well. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I can show off a proper fight as well. He attacked right as the other guy died, so I was able to go behind him immediately. then another attack. He's pretty close to death, so I don't have to go to the back, but I still like to do it. Okay. Take care, Clueless then. So I'm still confused about the looks like an action game, it's actually turn-based. It's kind of turn-based, yeah. There are attacks that take priority and can't be removed. It's like action turn-based, I don't know. Sorry, right? Once again, we have the G-Replica fight. You don't do a lot. Yeah, see it, Clueless. Take care, man. That's it. The entire fight. Okay, now we have Ifrit. This fight is hard if you don't know what to do, because you can lose a lot of time. But I'm gonna show you a very easy strat that works every time. You press R1 and go to Blizzard and do 5 blizzards. Count them. There's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now you want to run away. He will not stagger from this blizzard, so you want to run away, and he will do an uppercut. Once you see him doing the uppercut, you can stop running and mash blizzard again. I'm gonna run away, and here, uppercut. And now I'm gonna mash out blizzard. 6 more. 3, 4, 5, 6. You saw me going to attack. If you remember from the Wutai, from the Castle Square fight, if you end on... I'm gonna go back and show the fight one more time. But if you remember, after the Castle Square fight, I stopped with Blizzard. And I ended up with Blizzard for the next fight. But because you can't hit those enemies, you can't do that in the previous fight. Right here, you can theoretically use attack. So what I like to do is I do the 11th Blizzard, or the 6th Blizzard in the second set of Blizzards. And then I do a normal attack just to preset my attack. And it doesn't even waste any time. It just makes it more comfortable for the next fight. So right here, R1 and spam Blizzard. And you don't have to be fast with the R1 input because he takes his time on attacking you. 5th Blizzard, you run away, uppercut, and then continue mashing Blizzard. 3, 4, 5, 6, and then attack. Easy, easy fight. Circle, X, a lot of text boxes, a lot of cutscenes. More text boxes. So you want to approach Zhang, and you immediately get a text box, so just press X once, wait for the text box, and then up X. And then just smash. Watch the cutscene. And now, as I said, we preset attack from the last fight. So right here, I can immediately start with attack. I don't have to change anything. It's just convenience for this fight. Here, you want to just hold up until you reach this part. Then you want to hug the left wall to avoid any encounters. And then we already have the next boss fight coming up. So right here we have a text box. I'm gonna do a safe set here. What you want to do is you want to see what he does. He will either attack you immediately or he will turn around. If he turns around, or no matter what he does, go for his back. Right here he turns around, so I'm going the shortest way to his back and I'm attacking as much as possible from the back. Whenever he attacks, you just want to finish your current action, then dodge it. He can use the cannon or the claw attack that he just used, or the EM field. When he does the EM field, what I like to do is I get hit 4 times, then I dodge roll. Because if I dodge roll after the 4th damage instance, it doesn't do much damage, so you can tank the damage. If you dodge roll after the 4th damage instance, you will not get hit anymore and you can continue attacking. So there are 4 damage instances, and now I can continue attacking on his back. Cannon, so I'm gonna finish my action and dodge roll. Spiderweb. This attack is important. He will turn around and try to shoot a spiderweb at you. So what you want to do is dodge roll under him, and now you're where his face at. The thing with this is, you see that his face is on the side that I'm gonna attack soon, but it still counts as his back because he is gonna turn around. Watch this. He takes double damage because it counts as his back, even though it's his face right there. And that only counts for the spiderweb attack. No other attack in the game works like that. And that's it. You just continue to attack. I'm gonna show it off one more time. He's not turning around, but I'm going for his back as quick as possible. He does the claw attack. I'm going for his back again. Cannon, so I'm finished my attack and then dodge. Then EM field. 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, dodge roll. And then attack him. Now we will do spiderweb, so I'm dodge rolling under him. You will lag out of him sometimes, but it's okay. Then just continue attacking him from the back. And there we go. If you can count your damage really well, you can predict when he dies, obviously, and just attack him. I never do that. That's why I dodge before the final attack. This fight isn't that hard either. You want to walk to the right now and head for the entrance here. Don't talk to anyone, just head here. Watch the cutscenes. So right here we have 2 text boxes. They're not important. It just shows the village. And now what you want to do, you want to hold right until you see Zack moving. And then run up. If you do it differently, you can get stuck on Zhang, and then it's weird with the collision in that area. Now we have more text boxes. And we want to go to the house that is left of the save point. You see the save point in the back? Left of it is the house we want to approach. So we're going to try and hug the right wall. You don't have to be that good with hugging it, because the enemy hitboxes are pretty generous here. You don't want to touch the save point if possible. But yeah, the enemy hitboxes are pretty generous on that area. You just want to stay very close to the house, but you don't have to actually hug it in this case. Then you want to enter this house for another cutscene. On the emulator, the cutscene glitches out of the camera for some reason, but the console has its own issues. After the cutscene, you hold up and mash X to head into the door, and then you get another little cutscene and another fight. Those are just copies, so mash X until they start doing something. They didn't even do anything, so I could just mash X. Now a few more text boxes. Now you want to go left, not hit the live stream because a little text box will pop up, and you want to hug the wall because there are enemies that can spawn before this metal plank, and even after. Here you don't have to hug the wall because there are no enemy zones here, but at this little point you have to start hugging the right wall again. And from here on out you can just hold up and there will be no enemies. Then press X to talk to Zhang, and watch the cutscene. There are a lot of cutscenes in this game. Here another Genesis copy fight. As always with those easy copies, you want to mash X and wait until you see what they're doing. Right here I'm gonna kill the first guy. He's doing nothing, so the second guy, he's attacking, so you're gonna dodge it and continue attack. What percent of the run do you think is cutscene? At least half of the run. So right here, it can happen that you get an encounter now, but you want to hug the wall here until the stairs, then you hug the right wall. You can get an encounter on the upper platform. It's usually a heli gunner. Unfortunate if it happens, but you can evade that fight pretty easily. So now we have a fight with, I think, 7 copies and a heli gunner. You want to focus. What you want to do is you want to focus on the back of the heli gunner, which is sometimes hard to determine, but the heli gunner has an attack where he shoots with its cannons, and the one cannon that does not come out is its back. So right here you can see the left side that you see right now is his back. He's not showing the back to me, so I'm gonna go ahead and attack the copies first, as it's easier. You have to defeat them anyway, so you can defeat them as long as you don't know where the back of the heli gunners, defeat the copies. So he shoots, so the back is on the other side, and I'm gonna try to attack it. You want to try and focus on that as well, because he can be the most annoying enemy in the fight. And he doesn't take many hits. After he's dead, it's only the copies left, so you're just gonna dodge their attacks and continue pressing X to kill all of them. Just like with the Wutai fight earlier, you want to go to the closest one every time, in case they close up to you by themselves, but yeah. there were none left anymore, so it didn't really matter. A few text boxes. Here, I'm pretty sure there are no enemies that can spawn here, so just walk the way you want into this room. A few more text boxes, and right here it can be iffy to enter the door, the upcoming door. So what I do is I hold left to walk in a circle, and at this point I hold up left. See, sometimes Zack just evades the door. So usually what I do is I hold left and change to up left at some point, and it's weird. You have to fit your way through it, but you press left, then up left, and then left again, and it can be finicky to enter the door. Now I have a little cutscene again. Here you want to walk back, and once you pass this door, you want to walk down right, because if you don't walk down right, I can try to show it off here. Probably won't happen though. If you only hold down... No, it didn't happen, of course, because it's a tutorial, but if you only hold down, the camera will usually trick you, and it will just quickly swap around. So what you want to do is, the way I did it at the beginning, you want to hold down, and after the first door, slowly switch to down right, and the camera will turn on its own, and you will still have the same speed to enter the exit or the loading zone, but the camera will not trick you. So now another text box cutscene. Here we have a little mini game. You're supposed to destroy those cannon shells. What you want to do though is you want to get hit by the first one and then hit 9 others. You don't necessarily need to get hit by the first one, but you want to get hit by at least one of them. And then just for convenience, you want to hit all other. There are going to be 10 of those cannon guns. And you want to press X whenever you hear the sound. Wow, I missed it. But yeah, you just want to get a certain timing on this. It's usually right when that sound appears. This is the last one. You want to hit the last one in general, because if you don't hit it, it will fade out and cost you a few seconds, and you can just save them by doing it properly. So it's like for nothing. Now you have a little mini game after a few text boxes. Depending on how many rockets you slice, you have up to a minute of time, but it doesn't matter because it takes, I don't know, 13 seconds to enter Angeal's house, and at this point the time doesn't matter. So there are a few more text boxes, and you will get gil depending on how much you destroy. I destroyed 8, so I get 800 gil. If you destroy all of them, there will be a second text box appearing that says you got 500 gil. After that, you will be in this position every time, so you just hold up right. Once the 800 gil disappeared, you just hold up right and you immediately enter the loading zone. You sometimes won't even see Zack. Does Angel commute to the city for work every day? I'm pretty sure he lives in Midgar. Because Benora is far away, they go with helicopter. Rebel, thank you for the host. Angel, thanks for the good luck, I appreciate it. But I'm doing a tutorial, not a speedrun. 2 runs died today, both of complete bullshit. But yeah, you have this one cutscene here, not really important. Then there's the Bahamut fight. This fight can be a big troll, but yeah, if you handle it properly, you won't lose as much time, most of the time. You want to click away the text box and immediately attack. Sometimes you will get a hit in, but most of the time not. Now, Bahamut will fly up and crash to the ground somewhere. If you can predict where he's gonna land, you want to hold... If you can... Wait, I'm gonna try it again. If you... Because of the pause, it was hard. Usually you just want to dodge him and go behind him to attack him from the back, as always. But if you guard him, you can actually run underneath him. But it only works if you can predict where he lands. So right here, I'm going to try attacking him. Once he guards, it's no use. I know that he lands here, so I'm going to guard and run underneath him. It's way easier to get behind him. like that. This swing hits behind him as well, and it does 2 damage instances, so you want to dodge it, because at this point it could kill me. You want to heal, and if you attack, Zack will run to wherever Bahamut lands. Even if he's not there, he will run to wherever he will land. That's a little help to indicate where he's gonna be. After a swing, if you attack immediately, you can fit in 3 attacks, but it's a little bit scary. After some damage, you will get the feeling of that soon. I think it's usually after like 10 back attacks. He will fly to the middle. So you can see by the camera centering. And right now, I know that he's gonna fly to the middle, so I'm gonna guard. And once he lands, I'm gonna run underneath him to be behind him. And just continue back attacking. He will use Mega Flare. This attack cannot kill you, but if you mash X and circle, you can skip the FMV that happens. It will never kill, but it can deal massive damage. After that attack, you want to attack because he usually flies away. If he does the swing, then, just like he did for me right now, then you want to go behind him again. I know that he's landing here, so I'm gonna guard again and attack him from the back. So I attack him. This was a perfect fight, pretty much. He didn't go to the side and he only used 1 Mega Flare. This is what you usually want. However, I'm gonna show a different version. I hope it happens. Gonna attack. He flies away, okay. If you get hit, you just dodge roll and then go behind him manually. It's not a big deal. But at 318 HP, I would already be careful if you don't know the dodge timing too well, because he can kill you if both attacks hit. He's not in the middle again, so I'm gonna dodge or fail that dodge. I'm gonna try to get behind him once again. And just continue attacking him in the back. Whew, this is interesting. He will go to the middle now. So I will guard. And then walk behind him. Important thing about the guard is the guard reduces the damage by 90%. So if an attack does 100 damage, you will take 10 from it. I'm gonna skip the FMV. You saw me having 40 HP, but you cannot die from Mega Flare, so just tank the damage. Now I'm gonna continue attacking, hope that he doesn't attack. I'm gonna cure, and now I'm gonna wait, because I want to show the other version of what can happen. I'm gonna wait for him to do that now. Love this game a lot. Yeah, me too, Gel. Best PSP game in my opinion. Oh, COS of the tutorial hosted. COS was interesting. Okay. So right here you see the attack symbol is grayed out. So that means I cannot attack him. That also means that he will fly to the sides and we can only damage him with Blizzard. So what you want to do is you want to wait for him to fall on the ground. And once he reaches the lowest point of his fall, you can start spamming Blizzard. There. Now you can start spamming Blizzard. If you do it too early, he will hit his iframes and he will just guard it. I would just continue spamming Blizzard. Don't even care about his attacks. Now again, he will fly to the middle. So I'm gonna guard and run behind him to attack him. He used Lightning Bolt, but if he uses an attack instead of Mega Flare, that usually means that he's close to being defeated. As you see. So you can just attack him. This fight can lose you some time, and you might actually lose a run if you're very careless, but it's not too hard of a fight. It was cause of the tutorial hosted because I was interested. Oh, okay. Nice. I appreciate that, Rebel. How much of this run is cutscenes? I would say 50%. So once again, you press circle and then X just to skip it. Another cutscene happens. And then you just walk to the left, or in this case, straight forward, and go to the elevator. Console will appear, a few text boxes. Then you go to the elevator, press X once, and go to Soldier's Director's office. You'll see a cutscene. Now you're Soldier First Class, and you can equip 6 Materia as the tutorial just said. After talking to the scientist, you want to go to the right and examine the item box again, because you will get a star pendant. That one will be important later on. You want to leave the room, but the scientist will stop you. You want to mash with circle as always. And then, just once you're at this text box, press up and X, and you will be at the right option. He will talk to you again, and then we have a little menu coming up. Let me go down on the notes. So this next menu is we go into Materia fusion. We will do it a few times in a run, but this is now the first time that we can access it, then we will immediately use it. You want to use this fire and this HP up. You don't have any other HP ups, but you don't want to use this fire. We will need this fire later, and it actually makes a big difference. Not a big, but it makes a difference. So you have fire, HP up, fuse to barrier. This Materia is very important for a lot of fights. You want to go into equipment and equip barrier over blizzard. Then go below cure, press R1 once to go to the bottom of the list and up twice for power attack. And then you go to accessories and change the bronze bangle for the star pendant because it prevents poison as an effect states on the bottom. Yeah, this is all we do in this menu. Now we just walk back to the Lizard, to the director's office. Same thing here, it's the third option on the elevator. Now we have a cutscene again. Now, this is very, very important. You go into the elevator, that's okay. Now, there will be a text box and right after a choice box. So you want to mash with circle here. If you press X now, you will lose 3 or more minutes because you have to kill all the enemies in this floor. So you want to mash circle until this box and once again go to hurry to the entrance. This is very important. You will lose a lot of time if you don't do it like that. You won't be able to leave the floor until you defeat all the enemies there. So right here, a few text boxes. What you want to do here, we have a Genesis copy and a sweeper. You just want to attack the Genesis copy. Watch out for the sweeper because he can shoot like that, but you want to kill the copy first. And then you want to try and get back attacks into the sweeper. Right now he's being very counterproductive and not showing me his back. You can bait him sometimes by going to go away from the wall, by walking away from him. And yeah, they have a lot of health, so back attacks help a lot. This fight here can be pretty difficult if you are careless once again, but it shouldn't be that much of a deal. What you can do in the beginning, and what I would recommend until you're very comfortable and very confident in dodging all the attacks, just cast barrier in the beginning. I personally don't do that because I know exactly how to skip all the how to dodge the attacks. But just for tutorial's sake, I did it now. You want to try to go for the sweepers first in this fight, not like earlier for the copy, because the copies don't really pose a threat, but the sweepers do. The sweepers can catch you out of off guard with their cannon shots. Like with the Wu-Tai fight earlier, you usually want to target the enemy closest to you to not have Zack running around the entire time, but sometimes you can't prevent that. Now it's the last sweeper, it should be pretty easy to attack him from the back, and they're little red naps spawning. They're not dangerous at all, they don't really do any damage. 3 hits defeat them, sometimes 2 hits if you get very good damage rolls. There are 5 of them, I believe, so just mash X. Then copies will spawn again, the G-Avengers. You want to try and bunch them all up to hit all of them at once. It sometimes won't happen if you defeat the red naps, the red saucers far away from the entrance. But that's like the ideal scenario. Right here, you want to watch out for your barrier to still be there. On the top left, I can see barrier is still there. Oh, now it ran out. I want to cast it again. It usually will run out right about the last wave here, because those 4 sweepers are really dangerous. You just want to cast a barrier because those pistol shots can come out of nowhere and deal a lot of damage. So right here, you want to try and do back attacks, but if you did a lot of back attacks already and they show you their face suddenly, just continue attacking them because it's not worth going further back anymore. Usually want to go after the first guy who shoots because they have some kind of a timer that usually regulates who shoots next. But that doesn't apply all the time, so usually I would just go to whoever is closest and just do back attacks on them. This fight can be very dangerous without a barrier, because barrier cuts down on half of the damage. But with a barrier you should be fine. Now there are a lot of text boxes, then a few more, and a cutscene. So, right here we have a really bad fight coming up. I really don't like this fight. What you want to do to avoid encounters in this room, because you actually can get encounters here as well, is you don't want to walk to the stairs, because then Zhang tells you, oh, don't go there, blah, blah, blah. You want to go here and hug the fence, because you can trigger fights if you don't. And right here you just hold up to enter the cutscene. Now right here we have one of the stupidest fights in the game, G-Eraser. Very important, cast barrier and keep your health above 400. Now you want to do 7 attacks. Like I said, back attacks count as 2. So I did 3 attacks already. 7. He can do a combo attack that can stun you. It's really unfortunate if you get hit. But G-Eraser has a special attack called Scorcher that he can use up to 2 times in battle. Both of them triggered by HP gates. If you do 7 attacks, he will not do it yet. But the 8th attack can already trigger it. So you want to do a power attack as the 8th attack. Because a power attack, as you see, he has little stars around his head. That means he is stunned, so he won't use Scorcher. If he's away from the wall, you can go behind him and do critical hits, which is what you usually want to do. But sometimes you can't really do that because he's having a really bad position, and then you just have to do normal attacks. Don't bother too much going to this back, because you will lose time where you could damage him. As you see, it's another cinematic attack. You cannot dodge it. You have to take the damage. You want to do another power attack as soon as possible and stun him again. This time it worked really well and I stunned him immediately again. Usually you want to cure as the very first thing after a Scorcher, because Scorcher, as you saw with Barrier, deals 350 damage, and you always want to have Barrier up. Now another Scorcher, that's okay. An optimal fight is 1 Scorcher, a normal fight is 2. I've never seen 3 before, but I've seen 0 before. Usually if you use the second Scorcher, he's close to death. I'm gonna show the fight off again, because can be different. He has a few different attacks as well. He can use a normal swing with a stick, he can use the combo attack, Scorcher, or a gun. There, the gun is the best attack because you can easily go behind him and attack him. So those are 6 attacks. I want to do now a front attack, and then, oh yeah, and he can cast fire, but that's not really important. So power attack, he is stunned, which is very good. It's easy to stun him, but sometimes it takes 2 or 3 power attacks. And here, I did a really high amount of damage. If you see that you do that much damage, I would recommend heal after Scorcher. He can follow up with a second Scorcher immediately, so heal as soon as possible, and then power attack him to stun. As you see, he uses Scorcher again. If I wouldn't have healed, I would have died. Even though he is stunned, he can still use Scorcher, because once it's loaded up basically, he will use it no matter what. He will, however, get out of this stun, so you can go around him, or try to go around him and attack him. He will not use a third one, so you can just attack him. That's G-Eraser. I lost a few runs to him already because he can be very dangerous, and if you play carelessly, he can easily kill you. But if you heal after a Scorcher, or after the first one at least, you shouldn't be in danger. You shouldn't be in any danger if you can avoid that. So here in a few text boxes, you just got a shop, but that shop isn't of any interest. Now right here, if you remember that you stopped with a lot of health, if the fight ended with less than 350 HP, or let's say less than 370 HP, you want to heal. Just by going into the menu and using a few potions. I have 447, so I'm not gonna do this because, and I learned that yesterday, this Sahagin here is a bad enemy. He can attack you twice in a row without any warning. And this jump does a lot of damage. It's easy avoidable, but it does a lot of damage. You want to try and stun him with 1 or 2 power attacks. If it doesn't work, just attack him. You want to start with back attacks because they obviously do more damage, but as you saw, he's flinching a lot. So you will get out of his back at some point, which you cannot really prevent. After he's defeated, there will be a cutscene, the longest cutscene in the game, I believe. I'm not 100% sure. Actually, it might not be the longest cutscene. but one of the longest cutscenes in the game. It takes at least 5 minutes for this cutscene to play, if you are on 20 times speed. This is easily a bathroom break, I don't know. You can do anything during that. You can take a shower if you're quick. So here you want to go backwards and hit the ladder. Try to hug the wall as much as possible. Even though it won't prevent a lot, it can prevent a few extra encounters. You will get an encounter here, so you want to walk to the right, and you will get this encounter. If you have a slow heal, otherwise dodge his attack and flee. From this point on, we want to dodge flee from every random encounter, because they can be very strong, and we just don't want to fight them because we don't have any benefits. It's faster to flee. And sometimes even safer. You will get another battle on the bridge. If you get 2 Sahagins, use a barrier, because the Sahagins are dangerous. As you saw, I already was on critical health. You want to hug the wall, flee as early as possible. If they use jump, it's okay as long as you have barrier up and 400 or more HP. Theoretically, if you would get hit by Blizzard, jump with barrier, you would have to have almost full HP to survive that. So it depends on how safe you want to go, and at some point you will just know if they will use jump or if they will reach you with jump or whatever. But for the most part, you want to keep your health as high as possible. On the way back, you don't get an encounter, which is very convenient. But over here you will get another encounter, usually 2 Sahagins. Yep. So barrier again, because they're poop. Heal if necessary, and just try to flee. If they jump, it's actually not that bad. As you see, it was pretty dangerous, but usually if the first jump hits you, the second jump doesn't. So I quickly healed up. I've refilled my MP as well, just to be able to cast more barriers and cures. Oh yeah, by the way, if your health is 400 or higher, 2 jumps with barrier has an unbelievably low amount of chance to defeat you. As you saw, one attack did 200, that's like the high end of the damage scale, and the other attack 174, which is the usual damage. Here you will encounter 2 of the Ahriman, or whatever they are, yeah, Ahriman. You want to flee, but you want to like wiggle around a little bit, because if you run into the fence, you sometimes cannot flee properly. They will use Blizzard most of the time, but it's whatever. You want to run away here as well. I got pretty lucky because the Ahriman didn't do anything, but this dodge can be a little bit iffy as well. I ended with 330 HP, so I'm gonna heal up again. You want to watch out though, whenever you heal, you have to keep 1 potion. You want to keep 1 potion for later. Here we have Ahrimans again. Got hit by fire, that's okay. I'm not gonna heal now, but usually you would heal right here, because those 2 Sahagins can kill you. You can heal with Cure as well in battle, which is sometimes faster. But right here they didn't even attack, so it wasn't even necessary. And once you approach Safarov, you have a lot of cutscenes again. So right here, you have to examine those white little... what are they called? Those white, yeah, just papers basically, those documents. You want to walk to the one on the yellow box first. Mash with circle to not examine it twice. Then you want to examine the one on this box. And we'll play a cutscene. Then you walk backwards to the bed, because there's another document. And we'll play a small cutscene. And then you go to Sephiroth and talk with him. This will play the actual cutscene to initiate the chase with Hollander. So right here we have the Hollander chase. This chase is not that bad, but it sucks. Right here you will get a 2 Sahagin encounter every time. So just go with barrier. That jump will not hit because it has a limited range. And flee, as always. So here you want to hug the wall as much as possible. You don't really need to stick to the wall because the enemy areas aren't that big in those interiors, but they're still big enough. I would still stick to the wall as much as possible. You want to go to the left side here, as you saw, to catch up to Hollander, and then you want to walk straight to initiate a fight with those 3 Genesis copies. Just attack them. They can cast Fire, Blizzard, or just do normal melee attacks, but it doesn't really matter because they don't really do much. They don't do anything besides those. And it's an easy fight. Then you want to continue following Hollander. It doesn't matter if you lose sight of him or not. Right here you want to take the left one. Then the enemy boxes are pretty generous here, so what you can do is just walk straight here and you will not get an encounter. And you want to pick up this chest. It contains a magic up, which we will use later. And right here you have Hollander again. Just follow him. Hug the wall here because of encounter possibility. And right here you get 2 forced encounters but no random ones. So on the red saucers, once again you just want to attack them. I'm gonna speed this up because it's not hard. And then the next fight is actually pretty dangerous. Because those are 2 Sahagins, but you have to fight the Sahagins. So what you want to do is immediately cast Barry, use an Ether if you don't have enough MP. What I like to do, I try a power attack at least once. If they're stunned, it's optimal. If not, then it's whatever. And you want to either back attack one of them or hit both of them at once. If you can get both of these things at once, it's optimal. But you don't need to. Just try to deal as much damage as possible. If they jump, just dodge once they land. It takes around 2 seconds for them to land. And it doesn't really matter if you do back attacks or not, because as you see, after a few back attacks you're in the front anyway. So now we want to continue walking forward. By the way, if you forget the magic up, it's not a big deal. It doesn't matter too much. It just speeds up a little bit. Now here you can get no encounters, so what you want to do is walk to the left side, up those stairs. Get the circlet in this chest. And now you want to do a menu. What you want to do first is go to shops and buy 20 ethers and 10 remedies. The money should always be enough for that. If you can't buy 10 remedies, it doesn't matter, it's just an arbitrary number. You can buy less if you want to. Or no at all, and not at all, but that's not recommended. And yeah. After that, you want to go into equipment and equip the bronze bangle over curse ring, because we want to remove curse for the next fight as we actually want to level up. Then you go out of this menu. I like to sort here, just so I have potion, ether, remedy, and soma on the top. And just do a little circle around those items. You don't need to use soma because AP is not really relevant to be full. But yeah, use potion, ether, remedy to cure curse and heal HP and MP. So this is a safety strat. If this is your first run or the first few runs and you have a time of like on emulator 6 hours or higher, it's like a time for beginners, I would say. Go to the save point and save, because there's a 10% chance that your run might die at this point, and you obviously don't want that to happen. The next enemy can drop a power wrist, which is what we want, or bronze bangle, which is what we don't want, but the chance of the bronze bangle to drop is 10%. Right here, it's very important to remove the curse string, otherwise your run is pretty much dead. And you wanna fight these enemies while having the DMW rolling. You can cast a barrier, but you don't really need to because the enemies aren't really dangerous. The poison gas cannot hit you. And now you'll see a few limits. Just mash X because there can be cutscenes happening. Those pictures usually waste time. You want to have those happen as early as possible. 777 means a level up. You want to reach level 10 But sometimes you will only reach level 9, which is not too bad. It loses like 20 seconds if you reach level 9 instead of 10. If at all. Lucky Stars grants you critical, so you don't even have to go to the back to attack the enemies. And it grants critical to every limit that happens from this point on. Until critical is gone, which is pretty helpful. But here Zhang worked. Didn't get anything out of it, which is pretty unfortunate. Like, you do want to reach level 9, otherwise you will have a bad time. I'm trying. And you obviously want the quickest limit breaks. So as long as you don't get Angeal, you got pretty quick limit breaks. But Angeal is only good if you have critical active. Like right here I have critical still active and I will probably get Angeal now. And because of critical, I will deal every single hit that this limit does is a critical hit. You want those limits to be as high level as possible as well, just so they deal maximum amount of damage, because the time doesn't change whether they're level 1 or 5. So if they happen, you want to happen them at a high level, but you can't change that. The critical buff won't work forever, so right now it ran out, so I'm gonna go for back attacks again. And I'm still level 7, which is very bad. You usually want to reach level 9 or 10, as I said earlier. You want to go after the blue guy first. I didn't even explain that, because the yellow guy only can use chainsaws and poison gas, which both of them are not dangerous. The chainsaws can stun you, but that doesn't matter too much. And the green missile guy either shoots missiles at you or shoots normally, but he usually doesn't do... usually he doesn't even do anything at all. The camera is pretty nice right now. So you want to mash X because, as you saw earlier on the Angeal possibility, I could have had a cutscene, but I skipped it by mashing X. We got the power wrist, which means the run is continuing, and I don't have to retry this. But if you don't get the power wrist here, run is over. Or you just reload a save file. It's a 90% chance to get it though, so you get it more often than not. I think in a run it has never happened that I didn't get it. It's very bad that I'm level 7 though, that's really unfortunate, and that usually doesn't happen. The lowest I got was level 9. Obviously, if you don't level up doing those modulating phases, those are mostly a waste of time. But wow, this is so unlucky. I have not seen that much bad luck before in this section. Blah blah blah. Okay. I'm gonna actually speed this up because this fight is not dangerous, so I can go ahead and just mash X for the entirety of the fight. There you go. This fight is not dangerous at all once the numbers are down to 2 or 1. I didn't really pay attention what level we reached. If we reached level 8, then I'm gonna reload. Usually you could either now, I don't know, try to continue or stop the run, but it will be actually pretty difficult now if you're level 8. I'm level 9, that's just enough. So right here we're in chapter 5. This chapter is, except for the end, pretty easy. You want to go into equipment, very important, and equip Curse String and Power Wrist. Both of which raise attack by 10, which is good. And the Curse Ring enables Curse once again, because if we don't equip it now, or at least before the next fight, the DMW continues to roll, and that'll just straight up waste time, because you don't want it to roll. Now I want to walk, oops. Wait, what? I honestly did not know, I do not know what kind of text appeared there. But whatever, you wanna walk here, there's gonna be a little fight. This fight is not hard. They die within 3 hits. So don't even bother hitting their backs, just attack them. Easy fight. Now a lot more text boxes. You want to walk forward again. She will say wait, you just click it away. Then there are more text boxes. Sometimes, and for some reason it happened to me like 2 times in a row now, the camera can face this way. So just watch out for how the camera faces before you walk into the wrong direction. You want to head to this door, the cutscene triggers. Then head to the door once again to enter the marketplace. You pocket the stone, your wallet I mean. You pocket. Your wallet is stolen and now you want to get it back. So what you need to do for that is you walk to the exit right here. A man will come out and tell you, oh yeah, ask the other people, they'll help you. So you want to walk to this merchant first. Skip through all the text, blah blah blah. Then you want to walk back to the guy in front of the light here. Talk to him. Then you want to walk back left to talk with this little boy. So right here it says trade the potion, don't make the trade. Make the trade at the beginning, so just mash X for those text boxes because it will default at trade the potion. And now you want to mash circle because you don't want to make another trade. That makes Aerith appear. And then you can talk to Aerith I mean. Mash circle because you will go to these text boxes. Look around the city a bit more is the default. So mash circle until you're at the text box and press up X to continue. At this point the game wants you to run forward, but it's actually faster to run backwards and trigger the cutscene from this side, even though the cutscene makes no sense because Zack runs from the other side again. Right here you will get a choice, it doesn't matter what you pick. Both of them are equally as fast, I would say. And then you want to leave. Now our goal is to defeat a few enemies. You cannot spawn any enemies right here, so you're just gonna walk forward. There are a few worms here. They can use threat to stop you, which is not that bad because they're not dangerous, but it just wastes time. So you want to first go ahead and attack, and if you see someone use threat, dodge it as good as possible. I suck at dodging it though. As you see, you will just stop. They're not dangerous, they don't really do a lot of damage. Just defeat them. And dodge threat as good as possible. Like I said, I suck at it. Try to hit as many as possible once again, just to deal as much combined damage as possible. Then we'll have a lot of text boxes again. And now you're having a little date with Aerith, but you're gonna end it as soon as possible. You don't want to do a lot in this date. Go to this merchant and the cutscene will trigger. A lot of text boxes, then a cutscene. Then more text boxes. You want to mash those with circle again, because there will be an option once more. If you don't pick the right option, you will lose 30 seconds. But it's just free. You mash circle until this text box appears and go up X. Otherwise, you will have to leave this place manually. Which is not too bad, but it's just unnecessary. You don't need to do that if you can avoid it. Another cutscene plays. Chapter 5 and 8 have a lot of cutscenes. Okay. So right here, you want to walk up left, leave the playground. And now we have a few more text boxes and enemies can spawn here. So go straight to the left wall and hug it as much as possible. And then go to the market again. Go forward. And try to leave and you will get text boxes again. Just go to I'm ready. It will appear instantly, so just be ready to press up and X. The boy will appear, give you a steal materia, tell you that you won't ever steal again, blah blah blah. Now you're on the highway. Those fights are pretty easy. In the first fight are 3 copies. You want to mash X for the beginning as always, because 5 attacks defeat them, 4 attacks defeat them. And you want to see what the rest does. That's basically almost always the approach for the minor fights. You want to mash X until you see what they're doing. Now the next fight is against those, I don't know how they're called, moth slayers or something like that. You want to try and get as many moth slashers. You want to get as many back attacks as possible. Because they have a pretty high defense. I think they half physical damage. And their HP is not that low. They don't really do much damage, but back attacks are obviously just faster. It's worth going for the back on those. They can use drill attack, just dodge it. If you get hit, you lose 100 health. It's not too bad. And now you have 6 copies. But those are copies once again, so just attack one of them and see what the others are doing. Go for either the closest one or the one that has the most other clones next to him, because hitting multiple at once is obviously faster, because you'll deal more damage. There we go. Now this guy can pose a tiny threat, but it's not really hard. It's not even worth casting a barrier for him. But I'm gonna make a save state just in case he doesn't use a certain attack, or I explain it bad. So what you want to do in the beginning is just attack him until he doesn't attack, and then dodge and go for the back. If you get lucky, he will get stun locked like this, which is a good fight. Now, he uses Twin Kick. Twin Kick does 2 damage instances. One where he just kicks you, and the other one he lunges towards you with his feet first. You want to get hit by the first part, like this, and you want to dodge the second part. If you dodge immediately, you will get hit by the second part and you will get stunned. So you just want to get hit by the first part to be able to dodge the second part reliably. And then continue attacking him. If you use a silence, just attack him. This was a really good fight because I got a lot of back attacks in. And then another cut's in place. Our goal here is to walk to the other side of the room here. Just hug the wall. On this pole, you oftentimes get an encounter, but it's not a big deal. Just flee. Knife toss is not a dangerous attack. Escape. Easy. And then you go into the sample storage. Whatever. Sample storage chamber, yeah. I have pretty low health, so I'm gonna heal now. You don't have to if you don't want to, but it's recommended because the next fight can actually do quite a bit of damage. Just walk straight forward. Examine the elevator, and now talk to Hojo. You'll have a few text boxes, and now you want to walk again towards him, but mash circle. Because there will be a text box once again, a choice box. Then you want to go up X for Of Course I Am. Now there's going to be a cutscene playing. Cutscene is not important. So. Bahamut Fury. This is not a hard fight if you know how to dodge his common attack. He will always do a hand swipe. You can cast Barrier in the beginning if you want to. I just don't do it because I don't need it. His swipe can do... I'm gonna show it off. If it hits you, you get hit 4 times, and that does massive damage. So you want to mash X at the beginning just to attack him, if you don't want to cast Barrier. And once he moves his... You will get a feeling of when to dodge, but once he basically starts shaking his hand, once it he... Like right now is when I would dodge. You just get a feeling for it, but it's just before he starts the attack, and you will dodge all the damage instances of that attack. Now in Hexafang, you want to run away as fast as possible, cure, and then hold triangle. If you hold triangle, you guard. And those things, if you don't guard, you die without Barrier. There will be, as the name says, Hexafang, 6 of those spears dropping down. Once the 6th one drop down, you can release guard and cast Barrier if you haven't yet, and then just continue attacking him. As you saw when he jumps on the little framework in front of you, he will deal damage to you if you're still close to him. So you just want to continue combo him. If you get damage, it's not that bad, it just wastes time, and it can cause Exa Flare if you're too slow. Usually, if you're very good at dodging his attacks, he will not even use Exa Flare. I will show you an Exa Flare-less fight in a second. If he uses Exa Flare, it will not kill you, but it's very dangerous because you will be left with nothing. So go away and use an elixir as soon as possible. I wouldn't even recommend walking that far away. Just use the elixir. He uses cluster sphere, so once he combines all the spheres, hold guard until all the spheres passed. If you don't, you die. And then just hack along. He will die in a few hits. 7 more hits, I think. 5, okay. Now I'm gonna show you a better fight without Axa Flare. Which usually only happens if you continuously attack him. Or if you relentlessly attack him. If you don't give him any breathers. He doesn't get staggered or anything, but doing all that damage actually prevents the Axa Flare from happening. Don't know if it's tied to the damage you deal, but it just makes it not happen. Now he'll use Hexafang. I get hit, that doesn't matter. I cure for convenience. All 6 of them landed. I use barrier and then immediately continue attacking. The barrier is just for safety. You don't even have to use it. I use it because you have to wait anyway, because he is invincible after Hexafang for a little while. So during that downtime, might as well cast a barrier. Now he will die soon. 1 more combo, I think. I was wrong. It's actually, there are 2 more combos. But as you see, this is how the fight goes if you don't get hit a lot. If you don't get hit a lot, and if you don't have to heal often, you can straight up combo him the entire time, and Axa Flare will not happen. Text boxes, doesn't matter. What we have to do now is walk to Aerith. I sometimes forget what you have to do in chapter 6 in the beginning. I don't even know why, and I don't know if it's a count thing, but you want to walk over here to the elevator and choose the second option, entrance. You want to take the left path here because down here there's this woman you want to talk to. She has a choice text box again. You want to press up and X. You bet I'll drink it. And that gives you a free race status. So if you die once, you can be revived. If you should die in chapter 6 or 7, so now or in the next chapter, you can get another race in chapter 8, but after that, you can't get any more race statuses. So what we're doing now is basically just walking to Aerith, to the church. Just follow the steps I take. Here, a few Angel text boxes. Walk back left. This place you recognize again, Sector 5. Go through the big door. Then go to the left, and once you hit that area, a cutscene will play, and you will be sent to Nibelheim. What you want to do here in Nibelheim, or this is Ravine, not Nibelheim. Just hug the right wall for the most part. Now you want to change sides and pray not to get an encounter. I usually do it over here on those icy spots. And now here you want to hug the left wall as much as possible and hope for no encounter. In the run, I usually get an encounter there. Right there, you saw me not getting an encounter. That's good luck. Now there's a cutscene. Oh wow, it's Cloud. And now you want to hug the right wall. You could walk backwards a little bit and get a few things, but no, don't do that. Not worth it. So you continue hugging the right wall up until this point. From this point on, you can hold up and start hugging the left wall. And from here, you can just hold up because there are no possible enemy spawns anymore. Now here we'll have 2 sets of text box cutscenes. Don't know why they split it, but whatever. Here I want to walk to the right and hug the left wall. I just press left, and once the camera changes up left, you will most likely get an encounter here. It's very hard to avoid this. It's luck dependent. And you usually will get it, but it doesn't matter too much. If you get it, just flee. And then you continue walking down here. Now this section is actually pretty important to do right, and I will show it 2 or 3 times, and a few safe strats as well. You want to pick the first option, confirm tactics, and enter, I think. On this minigame, you have to enter the next room without getting seen, because that'll waste time. You want to walk to the right here, examine the death chest. And now you want to walk to the left and go next to this barrel. You will wait a second, then press left and just walk here, because those soldiers are blind as heck. If you can't do that, I'm gonna try and quickly come up with a safe strat. Oh yeah, infiltrate. I don't have a safe strat myself, because I just know how to do it properly. And it wasn't hard for me to learn. Materia, let me try and come up with a safe strat. So what you definitely want to do is hold up right now. And then go to the dev chest. Yeah, no, I don't have any safe strat. You want to walk here quickly to the barrels, wait a second, and you see I had to touch him to trigger the cutscene, so it's not too hard. If you feel like you're going too early, just wait another second. You can't wait too long, but you can jump out of that spot too early and they can see you. So yeah. Important, if you accidentally press X too early, Zack will perform a squat. And another one. So you want to usually press X next to the chest. And then you'll see that guy is really close. What I would do is try to hide somehow. I honestly have no idea what to do at this point. That usually doesn't happen. I would just recommend learning it the way I did it earlier. Because as you see, I can't really come up with fast other strats. The other strat I could come up with is kill that wave of enemies. It shouldn't take more than a minute, but it's unnecessary. Here, you open this. You definitely want to get the death chest here. Then you want to hide here for a second and then walk here, because they're blind as hell. And you enter the macro excavation facility. And one of the... I would actually say one of the hardest fights in the game to go fast in. There are 2 different strats, and I'm gonna show both of them. And the strats actually start from over here already. If you're doing a strat I personally don't like, you would just go to the elevator. You usually get an encounter in front of the elevator. It's very rare to not get it. And then you would just fight Genesis. I personally do not recommend this strat, especially as a beginner. But even as a veteran, I would not recommend this. Do a barrier. He will do Black Feather. You try to do a power attack. If it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. Black Feather will poison you, so use a remedy. And then use power attack until he's stunned. Right here I got very lucky and he got stunned immediately. And try to do back attacks if possible. Once the stun runs out, that's after 7 attacks, you want to try another power attack. Okay, that was too early. Just try to stun him again. It worked once again perfectly. And do as many attacks as possible. He can use defense. As you saw, I got very lucky and killed him beforehand. Did I do a save state? I did. Okay, what I recommend doing, what I personally like more, go into the menu, into Materia Fusion, then fuse Def and Fandara, because you have to fuse them at some point anyway. Go into Equipment and press R1 twice and equip Dark Fandaga. Dark Fandaga is a skill that can... There you go, that's usually what you usually get. That's what you usually get an encounter. It's random what encounter you get, but you usually get an encounter here. I got very unlucky that that guy used fire. So I used the Phoenix Down early up. If you want to go safe, you can wait for the G-Smasher to do something to prevent Sephiroth from hitting you. Because if you flee, if you're already about to flee, you cannot dodge anything, so you tank every hit that happens. This encounter is the easiest one. For this one, you can just flee because you will usually not die. The G Smasher, as you saw, is a little bit dangerous as he can kill you with one fire cast. Then activate the elevator again. And I'm gonna skip this cutscene in a second.
What's the meaning of this? You need me, Genesis. Remember.
Okay, so what I like to do and what I would recommend doing for like basically everyone, if you don't want to go for the fight that I just had. Like the fight I just had with the power attack was a perfect fight basically, and was a very good fight, but it's very luck dependent because if power attack doesn't hit, it's bad. This run, this fight tries to get poison onto him, which is just as unlikely as a stun, but poison is way better. With poison he gets continuous damage, so even if he would get off defense, he would still take damage. Afterwards I like using power attack, because stun and poison is the ultimate combo in this fight. You can deal so much damage now. You don't even need to do a second stun. Once you get the first stun hit, just combo him and he will basically lose. I will show this fight one more time.
Activating combat mode.
They have it. They have the third encounter that can happen. That's good. All 3 encounters. You can get the gunner with Smasher, you can get 3 gunners, or the gunner with the scythe guy. The gunner with the scythe guy is not really dangerous either. So here, Fandara and Death, Dark Fandara. Equip Dark Fandara. As you saw, the poison fight was a little bit faster, even though I had to do an extra menu, but you have to do that menu at some point anyway. You would usually, if you do the power attack thing, then you would do the Dark Fandara fusion later, but I usually like doing it here anyway, because I remove something from my equipment anyway. I'm gonna show this fight one more time. What you want to do? As many Dark Fandaras as possible at the beginning, until he is poisoned. Then remove your poison and dodge his attacks, because they're dangerous. Cast a barrier. Magic defense doesn't matter. You want to power attack him until he is stunned, which luckily happened immediately. And then just combo him. If you can't get back attacks, it's not that bad. It's important that you get poison and stun him. If you have under 300 health, I would recommend healing. If you use Dark Energy, you wanna... Oh yeah, that's what I can show off as well. I can show off his different attacks. Yeah, I have to win this fight now because I don't have a save state. I forgot to make one. As you see, this encounter is actually pretty free to dodge. So here. Once again, Dark Fandara. So I'm gonna show off several attacks he has now. And how to react to them. However, I will poison him anyway, just to get the fight over at some point. He will use Black Feather at the start, no matter what, so just be prepared for that. He is not poisoned yet. I'm just gonna try another one. Dodge his attacks because they're very dangerous. Then Cure or Barrier, doesn't matter what order. And now I'm gonna show off his attacks. Use Dark Energy. Here, Dark Energy. What you can do is, if you have over 400 health, you can just guard it. Like this. Because it can deal up to 310 damage, I think. If guarded. You can also guard. What I would recommend is guarding and then dodge. Because you will either guard that attack or dodge it. Which is a win-win situation. You could also just dodge it as well. His sword attack can deal 4 hits. With barriers 70 each. Without 150 each. He can use Black Feather once again. If you're close, you usually don't get hit. There's one more. No, then afterwards he only uses magic defense, defense, or regen. Which magic defense gives him magical defense. Defense gives him physical defense. Or resistance. And regen basically negates your poison, but he doesn't use that. If poison lands, the fight goes quick enough that he doesn't use regen. Now right here, cutscene, see ya Genesis. So I'm thinking right now, I'm gonna check something, but it's probably not gonna be possible. I'm just gonna check if the chest over here is there, then no, you cannot get death later. You have to get death as early as I said. And just do it the way I did it earlier. So right here, you want to go into this little hole over there and enter Nibelheim. Little fun fact, I was doing a run right before this tutorial. And I was not using the poison strat yet for Genesis. And it took me 9 stuns to actually stun Genesis. And then 5 more stuns couldn't stun him another time. So I got extremely unlucky. Because it's a 220... His resistance is 30 and it can be 255. So it's not unlikely. As you saw, stun landed first try almost every time. And poison has the same resistance and landed up to second try. So it can happen that you have to try it a lot if you get very unlucky. Now the bathhouse holds the next mini boss, but this boss is really not hard. It's honestly a pushover. You want to attack at the beginning, back attacks if possible, because he will use fire. After 3 attacks he will turn around and do a normal attack, and from this point it's random. If he uses silence, you want to dodge as soon as you see things start to pop up on Zack, not earlier, because then you can dodge it. Silence, it's pretty late. Mazer is a little scream to the front. Pressure is pretty delayed, and right here you have to wait a little bit until, like, after he lands it's like half a second extra until you can damage him. Before that he isn't damageable yet. Once he tries to use wall or Cura, you can just back attack him because he will stun lock him like that. So once he uses wall and you block that, the fight is basically over. So we got the Cura Materia, and there are 2 ways to go about it with that. I'm gonna explain both of them once the menu comes up. But right here you talk to Zhang. So it's pretty important to not trigger the encounter because it's possible. If you walk too far to the right, I'm gonna try and show it off. Oops. If you walk too far to the right, which, there, you can get this. If you walk a little bit to the right and then to the front, you can step over Zhang's legs and they don't have the hitbox for the enemies yet. So I just recommend doing that. Right here, you want to walk up to this little thing and then walk to the other side. Pole, up to this pole, metal pole, and then head to the other side because you want to go up these stairs. If you do it differently, you can trigger an encounter. Like this, it usually doesn't happen. So there, you want to walk up, walk to the left. What I like to do here is, because it's easy to trigger an encounter, walk up to the boxes and then use the analog stick to slowly make your way through this and just hug the wall as much as possible. If you do it slowly, an encounter shouldn't happen. If you go fast about it, an encounter can happen because you will be more inaccurate. This menu is relatively lengthy, so what you want to do first is buy 25 ethers. Then you want to go out, remove. Usually, if you don't fuse Dark Fandaga before Genesis, if you don't go for the poison strat, you ignore this step. But because I do it, you remove Dark Fandaga and Power Attack. If you don't go for Dark Fandaga early, you go immediately to Materia Fusion. You would do Fandara and Death right here to create Dark Fandaga. And after Dark Fandaga, you want to do Dark Fandaga plus Regen for Fandaga, which will be your main source of damage for almost the entire game now. Then you want to pick Magic up and this Blizzard, exactly this Blizzard, nothing else, to get a Magic up with +2 magic. And then you want to get the barrier here and this fire or this Blizzard, it doesn't really matter. I usually pick fire because it's closer to barrier. Barrier +2 magic. Then you go to barrier and M barrier to create M barrier of magic +2. If you did the Dark Fandaga early like I did, you can do this now. Power attack and Blizzard for Blizzard Blade. And then Blizzard Blade plus Cura for Cura. If you wouldn't go for the early Dark Fandaga, you would combine Blizzard with a Sword Twister and it would give Blizzara Blade. And with Blizzara Blade, you wouldn't have... you would have to equip Blizzara. Like, I will show that now, but in a second, but you would have to equip Blizzara Blade as well. Like this, you can combine it into Cura and you have one less materia to worry about. So what you can do now is... what you would do now is press R1. No. Wait, you go to... Yeah, you press R1 until you're at the bottom, then equip Cura. Skip Barrier and equip M Barrier over Cure. Magic up. And then press R1 again for Fandaga. Go to Curse Ring and equip Circlet. Now you leave. And heal up. Just to full stats. That's the menu. If you don't go for early Fandaga, you would have Def and Fandara left. I will de-equip it now, but usually you wouldn't have to do that. You go into Materia Fusion. You create your Dark Fandaga. Then the same Dark Fandaga and Regen. La la la. Barrier and Fire. The order doesn't really matter, just as long as you do it in the way I did it. Gonna go about a little bit quicker now. So now you see we don't have power attack. We can't use it right now. So what you would do is you take a Sword Twister and Blizzard attack for Blizzara Blade. And now you have a choice. You can equip Cura over Cure. I personally recommend that, but Cura costs 6 more MP. You can do the same earlier. You can skip combining the Blizzard Blade into Cura and just let Cure be as it is. It costs less MP, but it heals you less. I don't like keeping Cure. I always replace it for Cura, but that's... I would call it runner's preference. So what I would do is equip Cura, then equip Magic Barrier, Magic up, you don't need the power attack, Fandaga, and Blizzara Blade for the Magic +2, and Circlet. The difference now is that you have Blizzara Blade in your inventory as well, which... It's not bad, but I don't like it because I have to scroll more in the battle menu and I would have to pay attention to not accidentally use it because it's slow and bad. So I'm gonna show off the way I do it once more. Unequip Dark Fandaga and Power Attack. Go into Materia Fusion. Dark Fandaga Regen. Barrier Fire. Magic up Blizzard. Barrier M Barrier. Power Attack Blizzard. Now this is optional, but I do it because it's better in my opinion. Blizzard Blade and Cura. This only transfers the stats from Blizzard Blade to Cura. That's the only purpose for this, because I don't like having another materia, like I said earlier, in my battle menu. I equip Cura, M Barrier, Magic up, and Fandaga, and Circlet. It's very important to remove this curse ring. If you don't do it, you have to do it on General's tank. I'm not gonna show that later, but you want to level up in this fight, because this is basically the best opportunity now. And then heal up and remove the curse. Now that it's done, trigger the cutscene. And get ready for possibly the second to third hardest fight in the game. Angel Penance is a hard fight. And I still don't have it down perfect, so I might have to do several tries. It has a really good soundtrack though. You want to run to the back and cast Barrier and M Barrier. Barrier's optional, but I like casting both. And then you want to dodge his attacks. In this case, I got very unlucky and the modulation phase happened very early. But nothing happened, that's good. Except for Materia level up, but that doesn't matter. You want to go to his back as soon as possible and just start attacking. He will use Thunder of Envy, which you have to dodge. If you get a modulation phase, it's okay. You want to reach level 13 in this fight. If you hit level 15, it's most optimal though. So right here I got Cloud, 3/7, so level up. Angel uses Thunder of Envy whenever you continuously attack his back. And that's what you want to loop. It's relatively hard to dodge compared to other attacks because it's actually pretty tight in terms of timing. But it's doable. You can learn it at some point. You will just learn it. It's his most dangerous move, but it's the only move we can loop without him doing any shenanigans. He can also do... Like, he will... If you wouldn't loop Thunder of Envy, he would do his spear attack, followed by Wings of Pride, which is a normal attack. That's not too bad. Then Defense of Lust, which is basically a barrier. So you would do half damage and the fight extends to twice the length of what would have... what's left. After that, it's... a healing move. I don't really remember the name. Then it's a very strong damaging move. And then his super attack. Usually you don't even want Wings of Pride to happen for a perfect fight. But it's a little bit, it's a tiny bit random if you can keep up the loop or not. Usually you want to have 800 or more HP while having M Barrier, because Thunder of Envy deals 800 damage with M Barrier and one-shots you without. I got lucky that I got Aerith here. She will fully heal me and give me invincibility. But this is one of the reasons why we want to get the race early, because it's easy to die in this fight. It's very easy. I'm gonna show off the fight once more later on, but yeah. You want to basically loop him from the back the entire time. If you are on the side like I am, he can use Wings of Pride. I'm gonna show it after the next Thunder of Envy. Or not. Maybe I'll show it in the next attempt. The perfect thing is if the modulation phase doesn't trigger anything. So right here you can walk a little bit and then attack to rearrange yourself. So I will do a dodge roll and then I rearrange myself. I did it very poorly because I'm at the side now. Defense of Lust. That's exactly what you don't want to happen. Now everything that's left for the fight gets extended to twice the length because you do half the damage. Defense of Lust, that means I screwed up. The bright side is we reached level 13, which is the minimum level we want to reach from this fight.
Good luck.
Thanks.
It's not too bad if you don't reach level 13 here, because you will reach it in the fight after. But you want to reach it as early as possible. In this case, he doesn't have much health left, so I'm gonna continue looping him like this. Yeah, I can rearrange myself and then go behind him, because it's important that you're exactly behind him. Because otherwise the loop can easily break. As you saw, I got pushed away quite a bit and ended up not being able to loop him anymore. His next move would be a healing move, but yeah. Fight's over. I'm gonna show it once again. Barrier. And barrier. Now you want to dodge his lance attack. You want to go as far to his back as possible, as early as possible. In this case, it didn't work out quite as well. I didn't dodge into the proper direction. Now I will get Cloud. I didn't get a level up, which is very, 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 very rare. I got pushed away. That's bad. Because meteor shots will push him away as well. This is a very dangerous start of the fight. Yeah, he gets pushed back. That's not good. Wings of Pride. That's horrible. That early on. But whatever. I can still create the loop. The modulation phase, or the modulating phases with their limited attacks, can cause the loop to break if you're unlucky. Which is why I personally don't like the strat, but it's just the fastest strat, so you have to do it like that if you want to go faster than this.
I'm trying.
I'm gonna skip this now. Thunder of Envy, you dodge it. Those pictures are straight up a waste of time if those happen. Best part about this fight is, by the way, the music, in my opinion. One of the best songs of the game. And it only plays in this fight. And on the one missions fight that you have to fight against Angel Penance. Okay, Fun of Envy. I have a bad position, so I rearranged myself. Because you have time to do that. If you have to rearrange yourself, he will use Thunder of Envy after the finisher. If you attack immediately, like right now, I will attack immediately and I get modulating phase, never mind. If you attack immediately, he will use Thunder of Envy. Ooh, never mind, I didn't get the limit. You will get to see it. He will stagger after the finisher. And then I get an extra hit after the stagger and he will use Thunder of Envy. That only happens if you attack immediately because you're attacking faster. If you rearrange yourself first, it happens after the finisher. Here we get Genesis. It's a waste of time. It's no benefit of getting him. It can randomly happen. It's just a random chance. But we hit level 13 once again, and this time a little bit earlier. As long as the limit breaks at level 5, they're okay, because they deal as much damage as possible, but like, the best RNG would be just getting a level up and not having a limit break. Because it's just the fastest. But as you see, they can deal massive damage. I'm rearranging myself again. This can get tough now because I'm pretty far to the side. This might be not so good.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Fun of Envy, okay. Everything's fine. This is a very scary position, but he's close to the wall. If he's close to the wall and you can't spam back attacks on him, you can't do anything about that. In the beginning of the fight, by running away as I did it, you want to lure him away from the wall. Just so you can do back attacks. But this was basically a perfect fight. He did Wings of Pride, but he didn't do Defense of Lust. And as long as he doesn't do Defense of Lust, everything's fine. This was, to be honest, one of the hardest fights in the game. Now it gets easier for a while. A lot of cutscenes, blah blah blah. Super fast squats again. Now we have G-divers. This fight is easy. If you remember to put on the circlet, they will dive from 2 Fandagas. And now, as you see, our main damage method will be Fandaga. So what you really have to watch out for is keeping 32 or more MP for Fandaga. Because that's how much it costs, as it says on the bottom right. If you're having less MP, just use an Ether. That's what we bought the Ethers for earlier. Another level up, that's good. There's no difference between level 13 and 14, but hitting level 15 is good. Because level 15 gives us a magic up. So level 15 is our desired level. And level 13 is the required level. It's not too bad if you don't hit 15. I hit 15 once. And now I hit it again. Nice. I had one run where I hit 15 early. And that was a practice run. Now I get it on the tutorial.
Good luck.
Yay, good luck. So yeah, main damage from the entire game, or almost the entire game, will be Fandaga now. Don't tell me I'm getting level 16 now. I never hit level 16 before. This is actually just ridiculous. This game is mocking me at this point. So you want to Ether as much as possible. And Fandaga everything. You want to hit as many enemies as possible at once with Fandaga. Because our Ethers are not unlimited. You don't really have to pay attention to your Ether count too much if you do it the way... I just realized there are an infinite amount of people running away. So now we have this fight. This is easy. If the Fandaga doesn't start to hit nothing, one hit, easy peasy. Those replicas die from one hit. So now we have a menu upcoming. What you want to do at the very beginning of this menu is buy as many ethers as possible. In this case 70. Then go into equipment and equip Curse Ring over Power Wrist, because we won't need the Power Wrist anymore. And magic, as I said, will be our main damage tool. Sid, you cursed me again. Because of you, the Fandaga just went up. Now we want to hug the wall. There can be random encounters here, but yeah, they don't happen too often. You want to pick up this chest for 5,000 gil, because it's 5,000 gil for free, why not? You need money for ethers. Now we have another fight. It's, I think, 14 of those troops, but as they all get one shot, it's not really a big deal. Remember to use ethers. Whenever you go into the item menu, the last used item will be highlighted, so whenever I go here, I always use ethers. Another thing to note about item usage is during items you cannot get staggered. So if you feel like the enemy is going to shoot or whatever, you can power through that with an ether. It's not the same with spells like Fandaga. But with ethers you can power through basically any attack, as long as it's not cinematic. Now you want to run to the right wall as soon as possible and just continue hugging it. Examine the door. And now we have this Angel Gunner. He takes 5 Fandagas, I want to say. He's not really hard to fight. He's very predictable. And he doesn't deal a lot of damage. Yeah, 5 Fandagas, easy peasy. Now, you want to hug the left wall. Not like in the previous room, the right wall. Until you trigger this fight. It's another one of those copies, so yeah. Ether will always restore half of your maximum HP, so if you should run to less than 10 MP, I would say just use 2 ethers. If you have 10 or less MP, use 2 ethers, because it's faster at this point. Now this is another fight. I think it's one of the gunners and one of the gunblade guys. Wow, I whiffed with my thunder. A G-blader and a G-trooper, yeah. I don't know all of the names. Or any of the names. There we go. As you see, I still have the Phoenix down. If I can keep it throughout the entire chapter, I don't have to get it again. If you lose it, it's not a big deal. You just get it again in chapter 8. Another fight. I sped up for too long. Usually you would heal at this point. I'm gonna do it as well because I don't want to do it in the menu, but nah. If you're confident with dodging, you don't have to heal as much. Like, the more confident you get with dodging in this run, the less you have to heal. Right here we can fight the general's tank. Or we have to fight the general's tank. Very important, there are 5 drones in this fight. As long as one drone or one support machine is out, general's tank will not summon additional ones. So you want to kill 2 to 3 of those drones, because they don't really pose a threat, but they're still annoying. And then just Fandaga the hell out of the general's tank. He can use 203mm cannon, which is a very delayed attack, so you can finish your current Fandaga and then dodge. He can ram you, which is telegraphed by him leaning back. Oh, I killed all the machines he will probably summon. Oh, he won't. Okay. And he can use a Gatling gun. Gatling gun shoots as soon as he faces towards you, so be wary of that. Yeah, like I said, if you use 203mm cannon, just finish the current Fandaga you're doing, then wait for him to face you and dodge. Now right here, you can defend Junon, but it's faster to just ignore it. You just go up to this little... not doorknob. To those buttons to activate the next room and wait until all the enemies passed. I am gonna quickly leave and be back in a minute. You can count, but it's not necessary. There are 12 enemy units. But after the 12th one, there will be a text box. Just smash X, you will activate the panel. And now, this is a rather hard fight if you don't know what to do. Heal if you want to, you can use E first. Save if you want to. If you die in this fight, it's actually not a big shame, because this fight can be hard if you don't know how to dodge its super attack. And the cutscene before this fight is not long at all. Right here you can see Zack runs up the elevator. Elevator goes up. Door opens. God Scorpion steps out of the door. I'm playing this cutscene in real time right now just to show how short it is in case you die. So what you can do is you can cast a barrier. I won't do it because I'm confident in dodging his attacks, but if you're new, I would recommend a barrier here. But this fight is complete Fandaga spam. You don't do anything but spamming Fandagas. Contrary to the God Spider fight, if he starts an attack, dodge it. Don't finish your current move, just dodge it. Because Fandaga takes too long to use. If you use some EM field, dodge away. Do one more Fandaga and then get close. Because you want to... It might seem like the wrong decision because Fandaga is a ranged attack. But you want to stay close because you saw him doing target search. He will try to search for you now with a red laser. But if you're behind him like this, he will not find you. Let me actually pull out a save state here and show you what happens if he finds you. But he will do target search for the rest of the fight. If you're behind his middle leg, he will never see you. So be wary. There we go. Easy fight. I'm gonna show you now what happens if it hits you. So right here, I'm not paying attention. And oh no, target search hit me. You saw that red thing appearing on Zack. Oh no, what's he gonna do now? Tail laser. If he finds you with target search, and he will do target search until he finds you, or it's dead, he will do tail laser, and it does a shit ton of damage. You might lose your Phoenix down here. You don't have to though. What you can do... Okay, I'm gonna continue. Fandaga. Fandaga, Ether. Oh no, target search. I got hit. If you see that you got hit by target search, the red little thing on Zack, immediately use an M barrier. And heal up if you want to. As long as you have above 800 HP, it's okay. But you will see now, I will take less than 1000 damage from it due to M barrier. I still died because my HP was really low. But M barrier reduces the damage for tail laser. Even though you might think it's barrier, no, it's M barrier in this case. I'm gonna cast M barrier. And now I'll easily survive this attack. Boom. 800 damage. But you can dodge that attack overall by just dodging target search. He will continue using normal attacks after tail laser. You can even stay far away. I'm gonna show the fight one more time done correctly with dodging tail laser. Target search, so immediately go behind his middle leg. If you're behind his middle leg, he will not find you. Because that's too far away for him. In this case, I got very unlucky and got stuck up the wall. So I'm just gonna continue for dogging. Usually you don't even want to have him close to the wall when he does target search, just so that doesn't happen. Other than that, you could just walk to the other side. I got very lucky to not get hit. You usually want to do Fandagas, and once he starts turning around, even though it doesn't say target search yet, you want to start running away. Otherwise you might get hit by it. And as you see, it's dangerous. I'm gonna leave for 1 minute again, and then I'm gonna be back.
Permission to return. Granted.
Yeah.
Take care.
You too. Hey, what's going on in Nibelheim?
The device Hollander was using has been stolen.
Genesis?
Probably.
So, next chapter, chapter 8, very easy and very boring. There's one fight you have to do, and the rest is cutscenes and backtracking and walking around. Because now you're supposed to build a flower wagon for for Aerith, I mean. So what you want to do in the beginning is just leave the church. And you will encounter 3 little robots. Because they think you're a monster. You just Fandaga him from the side. Try to hit all 3 if possible. It's not a shame if you don't. But the more you... If you use... A perfect fight is 3 Fandagas. Oh my god. Perfect fight is 3 Fandagas. And they usually take 3 Fandagas to die. If you get very bad rolls, it's 4 Fandagas. Now, a few more text boxes. And now you have to collect parts for the flower wagon. You want to ignore the first shining thing, but collect the second one. There'll be a text box appearing. Pick the top option. Yes, I should. Then you continue walking. You go into the market, and you want to go examine this this wood, I mean. And there'll be a few text boxes. Mash with circle. Once Zach says that's easy, you want to pick 7 heaven. 7th heaven. I don't really know what happens if you pick something else, but if you pick 7 heaven, you get the wood. You probably just have to choose another name if you don't pick it. Then you go to Sector 1 Station Platform, leave, Sector 8 Fountain, and you want to leave here for the Fountain Plaza, for the Loveless Avenue, where you fought G-Eraser earlier. You want to walk forward and talk to this guy. He will give you some worn tires that you need. And now you backtrack the entire way by foot. If you can hit it. With turbo it's not that easy. I just want to speed it up now. Because it's just walking. You should know the way by now. Oh yeah, and at the end you want to examine this shining piece. Now you go to Aerith. Accidentally step on the flowers, apparently. Wow, where did I land? Wow. No, don't step on the flowers. And now you talk to Aerith. You're gonna give her the parts. There's a little cutscene. You're gonna get sent back to the headquarters. Blah blah blah. Cutscene, cutscene. Then you talk with Console in front of the elevator. Doesn't matter what you pick. And now you wanna leave to the entrance. take the left path again. Doesn't matter too much, but in case that if you lost your race status in the previous chapters, talk to the woman again right here and get it back. I didn't lose it, so I'm not gonna do it. And you're gonna walk the entire way to Aerith's... come on. To Aerith's church back. Or back to Aerith's church. Hard. Turbo is hard. Okay. Now there'll be a cutscene. We'll sell a few flowers. Now, talk to console. Say, I have no regrets. Match with circle. If you press wait, I need a little bit more time. It doesn't matter. Talk with console again. Match with circle again. And I have no regrets. And the cutscene triggers. You will leave Midgar for good. Now we're in Nibelheim. At the beginning of Nibelheim, you want to talk to Safarov. This will trigger a little cutscene. Then you want to talk to Safarov again. This will trigger another little cutscene. Then you walk into the inn. Walk up there, ignore the emails like before. Talk to Sephiroth and the cutscene triggers. This is a long cutscene now. One of the main reasons Nibelheim is so long. What you want to do here is go to Sephiroth and trigger another cutscene. This little walk is the only reason why you can't take a shower during those cutscenes. Otherwise you would be able to just, I don't know, do whatever, because I think it's like 9 minutes of cutscenes here. Okay, now next fight. This fight is fairly easy. The troopers die within 1 Fandaga, so just kill them. Ah, wow. If you get a bad damage roll, they die within 2 Fandagas. The more you learn. Just spam Fandagas. He will use Whirlwind eventually. That does half of your current health damage, I think. Yeah, half of your current health. Use Ethers, use Fandagas. He should die. If he uses Death Scythe for anything else, just dodge it. So now you have to walk down Mount Nibel. Average encounter is, I want to say 4 to 5. You want 4 or less encounters, because that's good. 5 is meh. Okay, but meh. Anything above 5 is actually just straight up bad. So you want to hug the right wall the entire time. If you get an encounter, you just want to run away. You don't even want to bother with casting barrier or anything for the most part. Just run away and heal if needed. One thing I didn't mention earlier, you can go into the Materia menu and heal with Materia, which is sometimes better than using items. For that, you can rearrange so that Cura is on the top spot if you want to, but you don't need to, because Cure will always be on the 3rd spot. This is very unlucky. I'm getting 3 encounters already. I'll probably get 6 in total. And I'm getting a lot of damage, so I have to heal a lot. There we go. Cure is always on the 3rd spot. So just use Cure. You don't need to change. Actually costs less MP in total.
Activating combat mode.
The only good thing is that it's only the birds. There can be bombs that spawn. If bombs spawn, I would recommend just cast M Barrier, because without M Barrier, there's a slight chance that you might just die from the Pyros, because they deal a bunch of damage. The troopers are the best spawn, because if you get lucky, they only cast barrier and do nothing. And even if they do something, once everyone has done something, and if they wouldn't push me away from the wall, I would escape earlier, but they did. So it took a little bit. But the troopers is basically the least dangerous encounter. The birds aren't that dangerous either, but I like the troopers more. I got 5 encounters, which is okay. If you want to be safe, you can take the left path down here.
Activating combat mode.
which usually never triggers an encounter, but for the first time in like 30-40 attempts it apparently is able to trigger those. And they push me away from my main path. You want to go left. Tifa and Cloud will walk the other way, but if you don't want to trigger encounters, which usually happens never if you do it like this, just walk this way. It's a tiny bit longer, as you can see on the map. It's a tiny bit longer walking like this, but you usually never trigger an encounter. I got extremely unlucky. It never happened to me before. If you hug the wall, that is. You have a lengthy cutscene once again. Once Zack stands up, just leave the room. I usually just hold left until I hit the door, just so the camera doesn't trick me. Now Tifa's gonna enter and be like, "Oh, Sephiroth is gone." You walk forward, watch a little cutscene. Yeah. You can talk to Cloud. He will show you the way to Shinra Manor because he walks there as well. But even if you don't, he will run here. And you want to walk to the manor over there. If you hug the left wall, you should never get an encounter. But as you just saw, apparently the game always holds some surprises for you. You want to enter the Shinra Manor. Don't worry about encounters, they don't happen yet. Walk up. Enter the second floor, hold right, and just continue walking this direction. Enter this room. And then examine this wall for the underground cave. Now, because there can be encounters everywhere here, except for the stairs, hug the right wall and go immediately to this ladder. Back in the day, this room was very confusing for me, but it's not anymore. Because here, you just want to hug the left wall. You want to skip the first door, because that's just the sarcophagus room. And then hug the wall here, because they can spawn as a Hagen. And enter the basement facility. Sephiroth will be talking a little bit, blah blah blah. He will be here. Hug the left wall so the camera freak out doesn't bother too much. If you walk straight back, you will start walking towards Safarov again. It's weird. Just hug the wall there. Now the village is burning. Safarov went rampage. Here you basically skip the foot of the mountain and can immediately walk up. Deathclaws can be dangerous. If they use Deadly Embrace and they hit you with that, you will be stopped. And that can be deadly, but it's not all the time.
Activating combat mode.
If Deathclaw spawns alone, it's not a big deal. You just dodge his Deadly Embrace if you're not as bad as I am. And then you flee. If you're already fleeing and you cannot move anymore and then get hit by Deadly Embrace, it doesn't matter. You will flee anyway. You can flee even while you're stopped, which is weird. But as long as you hug the left wall, you should get 4 to 5 encounters as earlier. 4 is desired, 5 is what's probably going to happen because the game hates you. This encounter is dangerous. And barrier immediately, because the firers can kill you. If you see the firers before you start escaping, dodge them and then start escaping. If you start escaping and fires appear afterwards, just tank them. But get the M barrier. Use the M barrier. Without M barrier, you will probably die. And that's unnecessary to die here because it's very easy avoidable. Just use M barrier. And right here, I'm not bothering about... Oh, well. Never mind. Oh, I want to say I'm not bothering about hugging the wall because I thought no encounters can happen here. But as I said, you always learn new stuff. Those firers would have killed me already, and one of them whiffed this one. Oh my god, my eye is burning. So yeah, you enter Mount Nibel reactor entrance. Hug the right wall. The right wall. I can't even talk anymore. What you can do here is you can heal up and at the same time check your ethers. 52 is a good count. Everything above 40 is good. But I would still recommend to go ahead and buy as many ethers until you have around 75. Because you will still need quite a bit of, quite a few. No. I wanted to come up with a safe strat, but this fight isn't even hard enough to recommend a safe strat. You go into the Nibel reactor, then you walk up to Tifa. She will tell you that she hates Soldier, even though only Sephiroth did that, which I don't understand. Sephiroth is not a hard fight in this game. He is fairly easy, in my opinion. So right here, you want to cast Barrier immediately, because he does deal a lot of damage, even though he can be pretty easy. After 2 Fondagas, he will always teleport, so don't bother doing more than 2. It's very rare that he stays, but whenever he... Try to use Ethers whenever he teleports. Try to squeeze them in there. Even if they seem useless, just squeeze them in there so you don't have to use them randomly. It happens very rarely that he doesn't teleport after 2 Fondagas. He can use Draw Slash after that. If that you still want to use an Ether after the second Fondaga, because if he doesn't teleport, he will stay there long enough for at least one more Fondaga. Right here you have Octa Slash. Without Barrier, you die. So you want to use Barrier. 836. I wouldn't have survived that without a Barrier. You want to heal after that attack and want to watch out for your Barrier. Because your Barrier will run out soon. And if the Barrier is gone and he uses Octaslash, you lose your Phoenix down. Which you want to avoid, because there's a certain fight at the end of the game where you want to keep it. So keep an eye out for that status bar. If he uses Heartless Angel, it's unavoidable. Just tank the damage and heal. You can cast Fondagas, but you will not be able to avoid it. Be careful with when you trigger Octaslash. I think I'm like 3 Fondagas away from it, but I saw Barrier's gone. It's here. I was 2 Fondagas away. If I would have used those 2 Fondagas without Barrier, then Phoenix Down would be gone now, because I would die. Always look out for your Barrier. It's very important in this fight. And even after the second Octaslash, he will only use 2 Octaslash in one fight. But be wary and keep your health up anyway, because there will be a second fight with him. If you use a Fondaga and see that he teleports during it, you can try cancelling it with a dodge roll, just to save MP. But I usually don't bother with that. And dead. I had a feeling that you would die from that Fondaga. Now, the second fight. This fight is actually a lot easier than the first one, because you will not teleport. Walk back, cast Barrier immediately, and then cast Fondaga from as far away as possible and just stay in place. Stay in place. You can do the fight one-handed now. Watch out for your Barrier, because he can still use Octaslash, but this fight is so fast that if you're fast about it, you don't have to renew the barrier. You don't even have to watch out for it if you continuously lose Fandagas. But this part of the fight is really not hard. As long as you stay far away, everything's fine. Just literally spam Fandagas and Ethers. If he uses Draw Slash or any other attack, try to cancel it. In this case, I screwed up, so I'm using my other hand. Obviously, in a run, you don't have to do it one-handed. I just want to show off how easy this fight is. I've done correctly. Octa Slash, and my barrier is still up, and I was a little bit slow. So in this fight, if you continuously just use Fandagas, if you
will pay.
If you don't really have any downtime, then you will not have to worry about it. This fight should be over soon as well. Like 4 more Fandagas, I think. 3, 2. If you use Heartless Angel, once again, just heal. 1. Dead. Ha! I was right. Interesting. This fight really isn't hard. Basically, just watch out to have more than 1000 HP the entire fight. And use a barrier whenever you don't have one, because Octa Slash kills you otherwise. There is unfortunately no indicator for barrier running out other than the top left not saying barrier anymore. And with having curse and race, you sometimes don't see when barrier runs out. So now we are in the longest chapter of the game. Very important, talk to the scientist and get the dresser key. If you forget that, you'll lose a shit ton of time because you have to walk back. Examine the door. Right here you can just walk forward and then hug the right wall. Basically go the same way you came earlier. Anyway, this chapter takes 50 minutes. So that's why it's the longest. And yeah, go the same way, so just take the same ladder. Right here, walk forward and hug the left wall to go back to the second floor. Now, what you want to do is you want to leave this room. Go over here, you will get a bunch of email because time has passed. Then you want to enter this room now, if possible. You will get an encounter 99% of the time. So I don't even bother avoiding it or trying to avoid it. You can avoid it, but yeah, it's so rare that I don't bother with it. Once you get the encounter done, you don't have to bother with it anymore either. Examine both lockers, both dressers, because the one gives you 5000 gil, and the other one gives you a key item, the soldier uniform, and you need that to progress the story later. You want to pick it up now though, because it's faster to do it now than later. You want to hug the wall now, because if you run into the middle, you will spawn enemies. Most likely those pumpkin ghosts that you saw earlier. Now you're back in Nibelheim, or at least at the outskirts, and you want to hug the wall, just to not trigger any random encounters, as always. This is the entrance you would take if you take the other way from Mount Nibel, when you go down while Cloud is incapacitated. So now you have to protect Cloud. I've heard that people went game over here during a speedrun, and it hasn't happened to me before, and it's pretty hard in my opinion. But yeah. Oh, by the way, what I forgot to mention. There's a safe strat for Sephiroth, a really safe strat where you just de-equip the curse ring and put on Shinra Beta. It makes Sephiroth in every upcoming fight easier, but as soon as you go for a somewhat good run, I wouldn't go for it anymore because it wastes 6 minutes. I'm gonna add that one in the notes though. I'm sorry I didn't say that earlier. So yeah, what you basically have to do is Fandaga the hell out of those guys. The green guys should die within 1 Fandaga, the red guys within 2.
Conflict resolved.
Now approach the guy that drags on Cloud. And the next battle triggers.
Activating combat mode.
Just spam Fandagas. You want to try and hit as many enemies as possible, just like always, with 1 Fandaga. If you get very unlucky, you get a bad damage roll on the Fandaga as well, and the green guys take 2 hits. But that's very rarely.
Conflict resolved.
If the meter on the bottom reaches 0 centimeters, then you lose. Then it's game over actually. And you go back to the last save point, but I think the closest I stopped at is 700. Which, if you see how quickly it goes down, 700 is not... still pretty far away. Still gives you plenty of time. Like I said, you shouldn't underestimate it, because if you're really slow, you will not be able to save Cloud, but I'm not perfectly fast right now, because I'm dodge rolling a lot to position myself, but it's fine. You have over 1000 centimeters left. So that's like easy peasy. And there we go, fight is over. If you wouldn't have the uniform now, this cutscene wouldn't trigger yet, and you would have to go back and trigger it yourself. With the uniform, the cutscene triggers immediately. Now, next fight,
Combat mode.
just those 3 guys. Nothing else.
Conflict resolved.
To avoid more encounters, try to hug the wall. With all the debris, not debris, with all the stuff around here, it's hard. As you see, I just triggered an encounter, which I haven't done in ages. But it's not a hard encounter.
Conflict resolved.
Easy. And just leave Nibelheim. Now this part isn't hard either. You shouldn't trigger any encounters here either if you do it properly. Don't bother with the minigame at all. It doesn't have any benefits that are like if... No, you don't have any benefits from that, basically. So over there there's the sign that shows to the right, but that's just to distract you. You actually want to go to the left side. The right path brings you to another rifle, which we don't need. At this point I like to change sides. You don't need to, but it saves a little bit of time if you hug the right instead of the left wall here. But every time those little cutscenes play, you will be centered nonetheless, so it doesn't matter too much. Now I'm hugging the left wall again. The rifles are actually solid for some reason, so you can't run through them. You can hug the right wall as well, but you will get centered at this point anyway, so it doesn't matter. Actually, it does matter. Hug the right wall, not the left wall. Do it not like I did. Or do it the way I didn't do it. Hug the right wall there. And now here you want to hug the left wall. That's what it was. I think this is the last set of enemies though. The beach should be here. Yeah, or the shore. You can heal up now if you want to. Just so you don't have to do it in the next battle. You don't need to though. Avoid the save point, otherwise it says new missions unlocked, which you don't want. And then a ton of cutscenes. This is another buffer break, like I want to say 6 to 7 minutes. It's 3 cutscenes, but they all play back to back to back. Oh, never mind. You have to click away that text box. So right here we're close to Cosmo Canyon, and there'll be a little boss fight on the bridge here. This fight is I personally think it's easy, but that's just because I have a lot of experience fighting enemies like these. It's a G Eliminator. He has, I think, 65k HP, so a little bit more than 20 Fandagas. Faraga, dodge. Use barriers if you're uncomfortable with dodging his attacks, because he deals a lot of damage. I think he basically 2 hits you, but all of his attacks are well telegraphed. So whatever he does, it's very easy dodgeable. I usually don't get hit during the fight at all. You just want to spam Fandagas. He can do the side claw, he can do the knife attack, he can cast Faraga and Fandaga. Fandaga is cancelable, Faraga isn't. He can use Claw Grip as an attack, which usually only happens if you're very slow. If you spam Fandagas like I do right now, then it shouldn't happen. Faraga is not cancelable. Don't even bother with trying. As you saw, I got hit by 2 Faraga balls. This was a damage roll. I could have died from that already, but I got lucky. Blast Wave. I'm gonna show this fight one more time, just to show you that it's not that hard to avoid all of his attacks. As long as you don't see Faraga, and he's not close to you, you can just continue spamming Fandaga. So basically, as long as he can't hit you, just use Fandagas. Faraga, as I said, not interruptible. Only when he uses it. Your Faragas would be interruptible theoretically, but yeah. His Faragas are non-interruptible, so you want to dodge it. You can block them, so you get 70 damage per Faraga ball, but I wouldn't bother with it. I would just dodge it. On that attack earlier, I purposely didn't dodge because I knew he is out of reach. But it was pretty close, so I would recommend dodging even though he looks like he's out of reach. Blast Wave. Easy peasy. This fight is really not that hard if you know the dodge timing, but learning the dodges might be a little bit harder. Once you know how it goes, it's easy. Now we're in Gongaga. The last place we will use Fandaga at. And after that we will have something that's even more powerful. Even though, as you saw, Fandaga blazes through normal enemies easily. And even bosses don't stand long with Fandaga. There used to be a melee route in this game, but that was way before I started running this. So I don't know anything about that, but I can imagine it being very tedious and slow for the most part. Here's another cutscene. Now the next thing, after this cutscene, it's very important. You want to press right, or hold right. Wait, why is the camera so weird again? Never mind, you wanna... So up here, you would go up the hill. That's the way back. You want to get this chest in front of this wood here. It's the Research Department QMC+. It's the only shop in this game that we actually really need, except for the shop where you buy ethers at. Because you get some neat stuff there. Here, this waterfall will play a big role later on. But you want to hug the right wall for the entirety of the time. This is an elixir chest. If you want to, you can pick it up. It doesn't hurt, I guess, and it takes like 5 seconds. But usually you don't need it. So here we have another G-Blader and a Scythe guy, but a little bit stronger. My strat for this fight, it might sound a little bit complicated, but it's actually not that hard. You want to focus on the Scythe guy because he dies easy. No, you want to kill the Scythe guy first as he dies easy and poses a bigger threat. But you want to focus on the gun guy because he can cast wall and that drags on the fight unnecessarily long. So I want to try and Fandaga both of them at the same time, while keeping an eye out that the gun guy doesn't use wall. Usually if you interrupt him 2 to 3 times, he stops trying to use it. But it's not reliably. Wow, this is lucky as hell. That's what I mean, but with the Scythe guy is dangerous. He can use Maelstrom, which is why you want to kill him early. Just like Whirlwind, this attack cannot kill you, but usually this attack shouldn't even happen. The combo attack from the gun guy is pretty dangerous. If Drain is used, it's the same properties as Silence, which I went over earlier. You want to wait until you hear a pching and something starts appearing on Zack. Then you can dodge it. This cutscene for some reason is very bad rendered. It's the worst rendered cutscene, along with the Genesis cutscene in Hojo's laboratory, which I don't know why. Okay, now, very important. What we want to do now is defeat 7 random encounters. The way we're gonna grind them is we're gonna go here and then here, just until we get an encounter. I usually go up to the end of this grass patch and then I turn back until we get the first encounter. You can hug the wall here and go back in here. Okay, so what you want to do, like I said, is kill 7 random encounters, so just Fandaga everything. The way I do it now, and it works more often than not, it's relatively consistent, is I walk to the stone, then hug the wall, go back, and come back, and more often than not, this triggers a new battle. It didn't work this time, and if that doesn't work, I just go back to this place, and then to the place where I fought the other Heligunner. Wow, this is extremely unlucky. It obviously is luck dependent on if you get an encounter or not. But the way I do it, it usually works. So now again, walk this way. Wow, this is so unlucky. This is so unlucky.
Activating combat mode.
Third encounter. This is like extremely unlucky.
Conflict resolved.
Interesting. So
Activating
it obviously doesn't look like it right now, but more often than not, this strat works.
conflict resolved.
If you walk like this.
Activating combat
Here,
mode.
that's what usually happens. You get the encounter here, and then you just Fandaga it twice.
Resolved.
Go back. Didn't work again. That's weird. The game hates me today.
Activating combat mode.
I didn't really count. I think it's the 6th encounter.
Conflict resolved.
This is extremely unlucky.
Activating
That usually
combat
doesn't happen. But yeah, as you saw, if it doesn't work, I go back and walk there
conflict
manually.
resolved.
Now after the 7th encounter, you want to hug the wall because you will usually get an encounter here because the game likes to troll you. You want to walk past the waterfall and the minigame triggers. Very important. Mash circle, not X. If you mash X, you will have to kill 7 enemies once again. Mash circle until the text box appears. And then I bet there will be more. If you go to I'm worried about Cloud, I better move on. You have to leave the room, re-enter, kill 7 enemies and go back to the waterfall. And this part is crucial. You cannot skip out of it. So what you want to do now is you want to collect 10 chests that drop from the waterfall, and there will be enemies as well. If you get hit by the enemies, you will be incapacitated and can't pick up chests, or at least can't walk anymore. So you want to avoid them. You want to step around that close to the waterfall so the chests immediately get picked up. Then you want to walk backwards to avoid the enemies and collect the other chests. Then there will be, after the third chest, there will be a break, then another chest, at some point. Or the enemies first, which happens very rarely, but it happens. As long as you pick up the chest, it's good though. That's why you want to stay far away, because the chest can't be picked up immediately, and as you saw, the enemies can troll you. In this case, I got trolled again because I got hit. You need to get 10 boxes. If you get 10, everything's fine. If you get less, it's not good. I got 11 now. That's good. But you need to get at least 10 boxes. If you get hit by those enemies, as you saw, you have to mash circle to recover. But usually that means game over. I got really lucky. No, not game over, but fail. So we'll get 3000 gil, Goblin Punch, High Potion, X Potion, Elixir. The thing that is of interest for us is Goblin Punch. We're gonna go into the menu, into the Research Department QMC Plus. We need 20,000 money. So you can basically sell whatever you want. Good things to sell are Shinra Beta, Power Wrist, X Potions, Elixirs if you want to. Right here it's enough to sell Shinra Beta. But Shinra Beta and Power Wrist are usually what you want to sell, or Shinra Alpha, because they give you a lot of money. They usually give you enough. Then you go to buy and buy 2 Octaslash Materia. And with the rest money you can look if you are missing a few of any items and just buy. Doesn't really matter. You can, you don't need to. Then you unequip Barrier and Fandaga. Leave. Go into Materia Fusion. And combine Barrier with Octaslash for wall. As well as Goblin Punch, which you just acquired with Octaslash for Costly Punch, the strongest ability in the game. Now you want to equip those two. Wall and Costly Punch. You can remove magic up, it doesn't matter, I would keep it. But you want to remove the Fandaga that was originally here. You can remove it now if you want to. And, very important, I'm an idiot. You usually don't want to sell the Shinra Beta. You want to sell the Shinra Alpha or Power Wrists, because you want to equip the Shinra Beta for this. I sold the Shinra Beta now. I'm gonna check my last save state. But that's very important. Don't sell the Shinra Beta. Yeah, it's the G Eliminator. That's not worth it. I'm gonna just go with the Shinra Alpha because I'm pretty confident that I'll be able to survive this. Yeah, don't sell the Shinra Beta. Sell Shinra Alpha or Power Wrists. That's a mistake on my side. And afterwards, sword if you want to. Heal with whatever needed. The remedy was useless because I will have curse for the next fight. So, now we have Costly Punch. What it does, it unleashes a punch depending on how much health you have left, how much percent, and on your attack stat, it deals damage. With our current stats, which aren't the highest ones, we deal maximum damage of 9,999. And it doesn't take a lot, like even at this point, I think with remove damage cap to 99,999, we would deal 70,000 damage if at full health. So at 80% health we would deal 99,000 damage, which means this move is just overpowered. And one Costly Punch deals always 9,999 damage for us. And we will use it the entire rest of the... We will use it for the entire rest of the game. So right here we have the Hollander fight. This fight is not really hard, but it can be a little finicky. You wanna cast Wall in the beginning for safety, which you want to do in every fight now, and then Deadly Breath. You wanna avoid Deadly Breath because it gets rid of Wall and puts status ailments on you, and then Goblin Punch him all the way. What you usually would do, you would just Goblin Punch him, wait, use another Goblin Punch. What I like to do is I dodge after every Goblin Punch, because I'm pretty sure that if you dodge right after Costly Punch, it's faster. But don't try it unless you're very good at this, because if it saves any time, it's mere frames. And you can either dodge too early and miss out on the costly punch, or you don't have opportunity to dodge. Dimension Missile, an FMV attack, you can't really do anything about it, you will just get hit, but you will never die from it. He usually uses it twice in one battle. Funny Worms summons worms. They aren't dangerous. They don't really pose a threat, but if you need to, you can get rid of them. We're gonna try and show a little bit of a different fight. Deadly Breath. So right here, he got rid of my barrier and incapacitated me a little bit. Now I have to cast barrier again. Use the remedy before. Funny Worm. This time it's earlier. You can try angle your costly punches in a way that you will hit Hollander and the worms. But you can also just costly punch Hollander. That's good enough. The worms really don't put a threat. They don't put up an enemy. They are basically just there. Now with Hollander, however, he can heal himself and make himself invincible. If he heals himself, it's okay. If he makes himself invincible, it's a nuisance because he will have to wait until the invincibility fades out. Which is pretty annoying. Right here I'm gonna kill the worm because I knew it would hit Hollander. There's a certain way of how costly punch hits. It's something you'd have to learn yourself, but at some point you just know what gets hit by it and what doesn't. It does have a little AoE, but it's not really significant. So this is the end for chapter 10, and now we're gonna head into the last chapter of the game. Now the bad part about me selling the Shinra Beta is that the Shinra Beta is that the second to last fight will be hard. Go down, please. There we go. Okay. So, you want to go this way. And now you're at the... how's it called? Depths of Judgment. There's a specific order on the materia you want to pick them up in. I believe it's the fastest order, but I'm gonna name 3 materia later. They might be... you can maybe be faster by doing them in a different order. You want to walk this way, and very important, there's a battle zone in here. Like, around this way. If you walk this way, you rarely get an encounter. I got an encounter now, and I'm gonna kill them because I don't want to dodge it. You can kill them. As you see, Costly Punch takes 2 hits, and it's dangerous to dodge. If you flee, you can easily get hit by spells and die. But if you walk the straight line from this ramp to this, you should usually not get any encounters. As you saw, I got it on my 3rd try. You want to pick up this materia? Those materia, by the way, are not usable materia. They are all key items. Yeah, if you try to flee on those gargoyles, they could use double Fandaga and wipe you out. So either use wall and flee, or be confident and flee, or kill them.
Activating combat mode.
I'm gonna be confident and flee now. As you see, I died, which is very bad. I'm gonna actually go ahead and reload the Hollander save file.
Activating combat mode.
I didn't mean to attack him. Because I don't want to go in without a Phoenix down and without Shinra Beta. That's actually just straight up. That's gonna be hard. I don't want to sit on Genesis Avatar for ages. Ow. You can get Dimension Missile this fight, but I don't know how. You'll probably have to kill him while he summons the worms or something like that. Because right here you can see 2 more hits defeated him. It's not a hard fight. The difference in the run between emulator and console, by the way, is none. It's only loading times and it saves 50 minutes. But none of the strats work differently. The only part is Safarov. He can use summon to summon Materia. He can use it on console as well, but he's for some reason more likely to do it on emulator. At least he never did it on console for me before. Okay, I'm gonna actually save state this time, just in case. Okay, so as earlier, pick up the light materia first. This one. This is just the fastest way to go about it, in my opinion. Walk straight to this ramp, because that usually doesn't trigger an encounter. If you don't head to the ramp directly, you can easily trigger an encounter, because how I believe it works is you stay in the battle zone, and because you're already in there, it doesn't try to trigger an encounter as long as you don't leave it. Once you leave the battle zone and come back, you can get an encounter again. And if you hug the ramp, then you can get it. Same here, by the way. You want to take a big turn around this little notch. The camera's bad right now. And same here. You want to try and not hug the wall too much, just because I believe that actually avoids the encounters here. Now you go into the Lake of Oblivion. Turn right immediately to pick up this materia, the life materia. And then you walk straight ahead. You ignore all those little... what are they called? Those live stream things. Pick up the Sabbath materia. And now walk this way. I usually accidentally walk through one of those thingies, but that's not good. You don't need that. Yeah, you want to walk straight from the chest over there, over here to the being materia. Now you want to walk back. Those three materia might be able to be rearranged for a faster way, but I think this is the fastest way to go about them. And even if it saves a second or two, so... If you can come up with a better way, let me know. Now I want to walk to the left and pick up the little chest that you saw earlier from the far, or from distance. It's the star materia. And here's same thing, don't hug the wall, walk straight to this path. And you'll avoid all encounters. Now hold down, because the camera is weird here, and enter the Portal of Severance. Now what you can do now for the next fight, even though it's not hard, you can use the save point. I'm not gonna do it though. Balloons are dangerous. Use wall, wait for one Blizzaga, or at least we'll move from them. Once Blizzaga happens, you want to flee. If you do it before that, you are most likely dead. Oh, they're grenades, not balloons, never mind. You can save if you want. I won't, because I can do save states. But in a run, you wouldn't be able to do them. You want to set in the Goddess Materia. And then we have G-Regicide. You can use, or you should use Wall. But if you're confident in dodging his attacks, you don't need to. Because he has almost the exact same moveset as G Eliminator, except for Trifandaga. And I believe G Eliminator can't use Claw Attack, but I'm not sure about that. Don't quote me on that. He needs 10 costly punches. And the fight is over. Now hug the Pedestral and walk into the light of Doom for the final showdown. This fight, this upcoming fight, is what you want to keep your Phoenix down for. And the reason why you want the Shinra Beta and not the Shinra Alpha. Obviously Shinra Beta is always better because it's more vitality, but this is the sole reason you really want the Phoenix down. Genesis Avatar. The hardest fight in the entire run, in my opinion. What you want to do in the very beginning is... You cannot damage him anyway, so cast the wall. You have all the time in the world to cast the wall and heal yourself up with various items. He'll put down his sword, and you need 24 costly punches, as he has 230,000 HP. There are those scythe guys that will appear, four of them at the beginning. You want to dodge their attacks. After your second costly punch, if you start from the very beginning, they will start using their attacks. And you want to dodge them, because they deal 280 damage per hit, and they hit twice with their attacks. They deal a little bit more to me now, because I have the Shinra Alpha instead of the Beta. You don't really need to bother with them too much yet. You can focus on the Materia for now. Once he raises the sword, just kill the little dark shadow scythes. From next phase on, it will be a little bit more dangerous, so I would recommend getting rid of them at that point. Now you just have to wait. You can use Shadow Flare at this point. He might not use it, just like now, but if so, you would just guard it until it's over. Now you can summon 3 different knights, or 3 different soldiers, or 4 knights. He summoned 3 different ones. Really important, don't let your wall run out. If barrier runs out, you will take too much damage. Always keep an eye out. Me, being a little bit more experienced with the patterns of those enemies, I will go ahead, and I have the Phoenix down as well. So I will just go ahead and continuously attack the Materia, because if you're quick enough, you can get a 2-cycle in. I've never done it before, but you can get a 2-cycle in this fight by killing the Materia immediately. I didn't get it again, so it doesn't matter. If he lifts a sword, just like earlier, immediately focus on the enemies. Purgatorial Wave is a special move. It cannot kill you. I think it deals 75% HP damage to you. Current HP, not max HP. It will never kill you. Oh, it's actually not even. But, yeah. Watch out for Blizzaga. This is the most dangerous move those enemies have, because Blizzaga one-shots you, even with wall. As you see, I was 1 hit away from killing him. I'm gonna... Oh, I didn't make a save state. Doesn't matter, I have another one. This is not the save state from earlier, but a different one, but it's the same thing. It's still Genesis Avatar, and everything is the same. Except for me having Shinra Beta and Alpha instead of Alpha, and I don't have a Phoenix down. So I'll be a little bit more careful now. It can happen that you accidentally lock onto one of the Shadow Scythes, which can be annoying, but it's whatever. If that happens, just try to lock onto the Materia again. Very important, especially without a Phoenix down, heal. Don't attack, heal. Because those Shadow Scythes deal a lot of damage. What you usually want is a 3-cycle fight, so he puts the sword down 3 times. Don't try to go for faster than that. Don't try to go for faster than 3-cycle. 4-cycle can happen, but it loses you like a minute. Probably. It's not too bad if it happens. Better than dying. You can even use Elixir in between if you feel like it. But here, you see Shadow Flare, just guard it. If it deals 100 damage, it means your wall ran out. If it deals 50 damage, it means your wall is still there. That's a good indicator, by the way. And in general, if you see that the enemies do more damage than usual, it means that your wall ran out. So try to learn how much damage the enemies usually deal with their attacks. He will summon a few more enemies soon. And I might be dead soon. Oh my god, all of them using Drain at the same time. This is unfair right now. This is a very slow fight. As you see, not having a Phoenix down requires you to be way more careful, because I could have died like 2 or 3 times already. But with a Phoenix down, you could theoretically tank a lot of those hits and not care about it too much. Without, you don't. This is the farthest fight in a run, I would say. And as you might have guessed, not because of Genesis Avatar, but because of the little enemies that appear alongside him. If he summons 3 different soldiers on the second part, it means you actually did a lot of damage on the first phase. If he summons 4 knights, it means you did not as much damage. which is not too bad. I died. As you saw, my health was almost full and I just died. So don't underestimate this fight at all. They control you with the timing of their scythes as well, which is very unfortunate if that happens, but you can't really do much about that. Except for dodging as many hits as possible. But yeah, as you see, the fight is mainly do costly punches and avoid. This is not good. I keep dying. But you see, this fight is hard. And I'm playing a little bit risky with not healing a lot. Now they will do attacks. That was a very poor timing, but usually they don't attack twice in a row, but the game has trolled me in so many ways today, I'm not even surprised by that anymore. That was a very unfair timing, and he did it twice in a row again. I haven't seen it before today. Very bad timings. Very bad. Mosquito. Phew, this is horrible. This is a bad first phase for me. If he uses Shadow Flare, it means that you haven't done that much damage. If he doesn't, you did quite a bit of damage. Yeah, I didn't do that much damage. But Shadow Flare is easy to avoid, as you see. You just guard it and tank it. Some of the 4 knights, which is indicating that I'm pretty slow right now. He can't have more than 6 of those enemies out at once, but as you see, 6 are more than enough to cause trouble. This is stupid, the timing they have for their attacks right now. Triple kill, that's good. I used an elixir, which was pretty bad because he's using Purgatorial Wraith anyway. But whatever, it doesn't drain MP, so it's okay. Now I'm hoping for a free cycle. We're finally winning this fight. Stop it. Why are you suddenly being... Why are they suddenly being weird? They never do double attacks, and my wall ran out. Like, I've never seen them doing those attacks, at least like that. The entire game is pretty aggressive today. This is a 4 cycle, this is horrible. But it's okay, I'm just gonna show how the fight goes. If you want to see a very good fight of this, just watch a PB video. Overdrive, as you saw, is basically a dispel and removes half of your current MP. Just use an ether and recast your wall. You don't need items after this fight anymore, so you can spam whatever you have. You can be all willy-nilly. So there are probably like 2 or 3 hits left. Yeah, this is a very aggressive pattern of those enemies right now. 5? 6? This is the worst fight I've had. But it's a tutorial, so that happens.
Stand and fight. Soldier first class. Zack!
Why is everyone always pushing things on me?
So, now we have the Genesis fight. This fight is actually rather easy. In the very beginning you want to mash X because you want to do a costly punch. Then he will go invincible, you will cast the wall. And then you can continue doing costly punches. He takes 10 hits. This is a very unlucky crit. He's giving me very weird patterns. He usually doesn't counter with the kick that often. Like, he hasn't done it ever before in a run. This game is doing so many weird things today. Usually he will not counter every hit. Usually, what the fuck? He will usually just take every hit. That's the entire fight, as you saw. I will go about a little bit calm now. Costly punch in the beginning, dodge roll, wall. And from this point on, just costly punch and react to whatever he does. If he hits you, whatever, just dodge it. Just dodge roll afterwards. Dodge his flash. If he uses homing, use guard. If he should use homing, you should guard it because homing is a dangerous attack. If it hits you, you're almost dead. As you see, it dealt a shit ton of damage, and I couldn't even guard because I was too slow. He has one more attack that he might not use, but it's not important. This is the entire fight. I'm gonna show it one more time.
Activating combat mode.
You can dodge roll after every costly punch to avoid his counter attacks for the most part, if it's his kick, for example. If you want to dodge homing, just dodge multiple times. Magic sword, that's it. He will just cast a few swords and they will home into you, but they're not dangerous. And this should be the last one. Yep.
Conflict resolved.
And that's it. You split on conflict resolved. And the run is over. GG. You finished the Crisis Core run. So, this is basically the entire tutorial. If there are any more questions, just ask me. Did you miss the tutorial? Yes, but I will upload it on YouTube. I also have some notes that I will upload once I've... Is it actually... I think there wasn't even anything to fix. But... Was there? Yeah, I will upload notes as well if anyone wants to look into those. So, yeah. That's it, that's the entire run. There is another battle after this with a ton of soldiers, but that goes only for Japanese. I will show it off quickly with Turbo, but English timing stops when you hit conflict resolved on Genesis, which is in my opinion the better timing method. But I'm gonna quickly show you where JP's timing ends, just in case you're running the JP version. Why is it different for JP? Because Japanese games mostly have a different timing. I don't know, it's the same in a few other games. If you do this in JP, if you do this battle, just stand around and do nothing. That's how it goes over the fastest. Just stand and do nothing. Genesis has a brother? No. I don't know. You see all those cutscenes. It takes like 35 to 40 minutes to watch all of this, which is a nuisance because you don't do anything. Who grabs them at the end of the game? I don't know. Those credits take a long time. So if you run JP, you will have 40 minutes of doing nothing at the end of the run. So right here we have this little cutscene, introduction to FF7.
First class.
Now on JP, like on English, the timing ends on conflict resolved on Genesis. On JP, the timing ends now. To be continued on Final Fantasy once it flashes up. That's when you would time on JP. That concludes it. I appreciate you guys for watching. I hope this tutorial can help a few people who want to get into this game, even though this game is not as well received as a speedrun as others. And yeah, I hope you're having fun. Okay, 1 minute away. 1 minute away sucks, dude. Today.